San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Friday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. A lot of Padres baseball we're going to get to today. We're going to talk about a little bit, kind of finally put the bow on April. Get ready for May. Talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. a little bit today. We're going to dive into some MLB topics today. NCAA tournament is expanding to 76 teams. We're going to discuss that later on in the show. San Diego FC is going to be taking on LAFC coming up this weekend. See if they could get off the losing side of things. And, of course, a preview of Padres and White Sox later on in the show as they will take on the White Sox for a 3-game series coming up this weekend. I do want to kind of start with, we don't talk a lot about the NBA or the NHL playoffs. Not at all. That's a heck of a win last night for the Ducks, huh? Huh, Frank? There you go. Starts to get tired every time. Every time.
Little boy's worn out.
Ducks able to outlast the Edmonton Oilers over the course of a 6-game series. Our 7 games, best of 7-game series. They did it in 6. That was the best that they had looked all year last night, I thought. Dostal was great in the net. You got the you got a goal from Cutter Gauthier earlier in the contest. The Ducks jumped out early, 1-0. They were up 2-1. They were up 3-1. They were up 4-1. Lost a goal at the beginning of the third period to make it 4-2. He thought, maybe Edmonton's got some stuff left. And then the Ducks end up getting an empty net goal to win the contest. And we're not going to spend too much time breaking down the ins and outs of the hockey game last year. But first series win for the Anaheim Ducks since 2017. Fun atmosphere watching the game last night on television, and now they await the winner of the Mammoth and the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, I thought that was a pretty fun series for the Anaheim Ducks, especially since nobody gave them a shot to win it. I mean, the amount of receipts today that the Anaheim Ducks social media accounts are posting is hilarious. Ryan Whitley from Spittin' Chicklets was just popping off before the series about how if the Anaheim Ducks beat the Edmonton Oilers, I might stop watching the Edmonton Oilers. I'm going to start quacking during episodes for the next month. Well, better start quacking, Ryan. Better start quacking. Overall, I thought that was fun. I think, we haven't had too much time to talk about the NHL playoffs. I think the NHL playoffs have been fun to watch, Frank.
No, they always are. The NHL playoffs are the best postseason out of any of the 4 major sports. It is. Anyone has a chance to win. Home ice means absolutely nothing. The higher seed means absolutely nothing. Postseason hockey is where hockey fans are created.
It was fun. And now they await the Golden Knights and the Mammoth, as mentioned before. But the path for the Ducks is not bad moving forward because the Pacific Division, as they said, in the receipts, was a pillow fight.
Yes.
Well, they might be able to last that too through. We'll see what happens. I mean, if you're a Ducks fan, you definitely want the Knights and the Mammoth to go to force a Game 7. So you're hoping the Mammoth win tonight, and then you're hoping Game 7 goes seven overtime periods. Try to wear some of the guys down. But overall, I thought that game was good. You got any other thoughts on the NHL playoffs?
I think Philadelphia beating Pittsburgh was a big one. And so far, I mean, it's been nice to enjoy when your team's not in it. because then that takes all the stress out of it, and you could just watch and enjoy.
Just watch and enjoy. Well, I'm glad you're watching and enjoying. I don't know how anybody's going to get to the Avalanche, but you know what? The Ducks don't have to worry about them until the Western Conference Finals if they make it that far. So I'm not overly worried about it. But when you have a very young team that the Anaheim Ducks have, and this benefits the goals too, because you have a lot of young players up with the Ducks, which means they're not asking for more players coming up from the goals. And when you got a guy like Joel Quenneville as the head coach, who has coached multiple young teams to Stanley Cup championships, and you got this young team that just doesn't know any better, that's a scary team to deal with. And the biggest problem for the Ducks all season has been their defense and the penalty kill, but I think they did a pretty good job, like slowing down Connor McDavid during that entire series.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and especially also, that's a team that's made the Stanley Cup final the last 2 years. They've lost it, but they've made it these last 2 years. So that is a playoff experienced team. And it just goes to show that when you're playing against a team with house money in a playoff like this, they are probably the most dangerous team out there because they got nothing to lose and they know it.
As soon as the Ducks won Game 2 up in Edmonton, I thought they were close in Game 1. They just had it slip away late in Game 1. When they won in Game 2 in Edmonton, I was like, they're going to win this thing because they're not going to lose at home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not with the energy that the Ducks have had. And here's the thing about the Anaheim Ducks, and I don't want to spend too much time on Anaheim. Look at the difference in like crowd and support between the Ducks and the Angels. And I know the Ducks are in the playoffs, right? I mean, all the Angels were there last night. Mike Trout was in box with his kid and his family, which was super cool. But I think it goes to show you, like in Anaheim, embracing Orange County over trying to be LA, which is not what you are, and is not what the people that live there want to be. And you look at the Angels and what they are, and you look where the Ducks are at, and they changed their uniforms to orange. They put the OC patch on some of their jerseys. They've just fully embraced being Orange County's only team. And you know what? I mean, I think it goes to like what the Padres have done of being the main focal point of the city. There's a lot of parallels between the Ducks and the Padres, the way that they have, gotten that support, and every game's a sellout, it seems like, up there at the Pond. And, they're improving their stadium now. They're going to improve their area around it. But, good for the Anaheim Ducks, good for the Ducks organization. Obviously, they're the parent affiliate of the San Diego Gulls here. It's good to be a part of have a team here in town that's associated with an organization that's run well. And, maybe the rebuild took a little bit longer than you would like to see, but I think that's good news, not only for the Ducks, but I think it's good news for the Gulls too. And the Gulls are usually one of the better, the teams in the AHL that do a really good job of selling out or having higher attendance in the arenas.
Yeah. I think it was the first 7 years they were top 5 in attendance, their first 7 years here. And before I forget, Augie in the chat.
He draws the foul.
Trout just wants to be part of a winning team. Again, truth doesn't get you to avoid a foul. I mean, it has been, and the Ducks are ahead of schedule as well. This is a team that wasn't supposed to be good for another 2 or 3 years now, after guys like Cutter Gauthier and Mason McTavish really took over as leaders. That they're a couple of years ahead of schedule from where they're supposed to be. And
especially after the couple of those years, like to add up, where they had the young guys and they traded them away.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you know, at the beginning, they traded away Ricard. When they decided to pull the trigger on getting rid of Ricard Raquel, it was like, all right, well, this is going to be a longer rebuild than you think.
And then
Zegras getting sent to the Flyers last year. It's just like, okay, are we going to turn into the Washington Nationals here? If you're the Anaheim Ducks and you're an Anaheim Ducks fan, but you got to give them credit. They put it together and they're able to win a series. And now they got to try to get, instead of just like patting yourself on the back, you sit back, take a day off, maybe 2, see what happens between the Golden Knights and the Mammoth, and try to win a second series. Get yourself to the Western Conference Final. You're young and you don't know any better. Your coach does, which is great, but the players don't. That's the best part.
And I think Gordon Bombay said it best, honestly.
Quack, 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 Gordon, quack. Stop, quack, quack, quack. Quack, quack, quack. Quack, 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 quack. Quack, 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 quack.
All right. Padres, 19-11. in the month 1911 so far in the season. They just finished the month of April. Today will start their next chapter in the season, which is the month of May. They have proven that they can win in multiple ways. I think that's a sign of a really good baseball team. They've overcome deficits, they've leaned on their depth, and they have survived very inconsistent pitching, which to me doesn't seem like it's very lucky, but it also doesn't feel fully realized of what this team could potentially do. I mean, the Padres have spent most of April operating below their offensive ceiling, which creates both optimism and probably some frustration as well. Record says contender, process says there's another level available. And to me, when you look at this core group of guys going into the month of May, you want to see Fernando Tatis Jr. get going and really start it up in May. I know he's a June guy. I know he's dominated in June. Be nice to start that in May. Manny Machado, healthy but not dominant. Jackson Merrill, pressing and chasing too often. We talked about a little bit of that earlier yesterday. But, at least part of the core four, you got Xander Bogaerts, getting the job done. And eventually, it's going to be hard to get all these guys clicking at the same time. But you definitely want some of them. You definitely need more out of Tatis, Machado, and Merrill. But if the stars start to normalize, which we think they will do, the lineup becomes very scary. And I think that shows the depth that this Padres team has. If the lineup at the top does not, though, obviously the offensive inconsistency becomes a real concern. But I find this to be different, Frank, because we got to take a break. They were very inconsistent the last couple of years, but when they were inconsistent in 2023, we were sitting there saying it's too early. It's early and they're going to turn it around, but they weren't winning games. Right now, we're saying it's early, but they are winning games and they have the second most wins in Major League Baseball, or fourth best record in Major League Baseball. So from that perspective, I think it's a little bit different looking at this team, and we'll see what they have tonight against the White Sox. But when we come back, a player they got from the White Sox, Fernando Tatis Jr. Everybody's concerned about him. We'll take a deeper dive when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Setting us over at Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. 10:18. This is Hootie and the Blowfish playing Hey Hey, What Can I Say? I don't know. Hey Hey, What Can I Do? I think is the official title.
There you go.
I put the correct one in on the thing. So that's a song by you know who wrote that song?
No.
That's a song by Led Zeppelin.
Yes. Yes.
They
No, I
covered it.
I knew that wasn't the original, but yes, that makes
And at Stagecoach, Hootie and the Blowfish were there. They played that cover.
nice.
They also played what's that song? Get Down on It.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They played a lot of cover stuff. It was great. I honestly I don't know if they tour. I am not. I like music. I know nothing about music. I don't know what the singers' names are. I mean, obviously I know who Darius Rucker is, but I don't know people in the band. Like sometimes, Woods knows music. I know nothing about music. He can name you a bunch of oh, the bassist so and so. I have no idea who that is. Absolutely not.
That's cool.
Right. Exactly.
I know that now.
What? Do you know anything about music?
No.
No, I have no idea.
I know my favorite bands. That's it. As far as who's in it.
I don't even know who's in my favorite. No, actually, no, I know who's in Blink, I think. I do know who's Tom DeLonge and then Mark something and then Travis Barker, who wasn't part of the original group. I tell you, I don't know. I don't know anybody's names. I just know them as the band. All I know is they play good music. Yeah. I know their first names. I don't know their last. I'm not that into music. I've probably been to I'll tell you this. At Stagecoach, Frank, if you want to count each individual set as a concert, that doubled my concert intake in my lifetime. Does that surprise you?
No.
I don't dislike concerts. When I have money to spend on things, concerts are the last thing I think of.
Yeah.
I don't willingly be I really got to see this band in concert. This was the only time because I wanted to see Treaty Oak Revival and they never come out to the West Coast, hardly ever. And they were at Stagecoach. And so it was an opportunity for me to actually see them and they were awesome. I saw Morgan Wallen here, but most of the times it was always I got invited to go to the concert or hey, we're going to this. Do you want to go? Oh, sure. Might as well. I think I actively went to Blink. I've seen Blink twice because I wanted to see Blink. I do have a good time at Blink. But yeah, not a huge concert guy, but I thought it was cool when Hootie and the Blowfish played Led Zeppelin and they played a lot of covers. Yeah, it was kind of fun. I think that's what makes some of those concerts fun. All right. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We're broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. No Drake Hills today. We're not going to have Drake for a couple of weeks. He's working on some stuff. Hopefully it's some good news stuff. So keep Drake in your thoughts. We need some positive vibes for some good things on the horizon.
Is he sick?
No. Hey, you always want positive vibes.
Thoughts?
Positive vibes, dude. And people go hey, I'm going in for a job interview. Wish me well. Wish him well. He's got some positive stuff coming together.
Wish him well is certainly different than keep him in your thoughts.
I didn't say prayers.
Oh, God.
People are going to be worried about Drake. Why isn't he on the show? He's making some stuff happen. He's making some things happen. No Drake for the next month or so. He's fine. He's just making some changes. Sounds like they're good changes. Let's talk about Fernando a little bit. Fernando Tatis Jr., everybody's talking about the fact that he hasn't hit a home run yet, right? He's crushing baseballs, but Padres fans haven't seen enough. They want to see him put the ball over the fence. And honestly, this is kind of one of the strangest starts in baseball history. He has been one of the hardest hitters in the sport through the first month of the season, and yet he still doesn't have a single home run. It's almost impossible. Almost. The results are not very good in terms of the power numbers, right? But the process that Fernando's going through is outstanding. This was laid out in an article by Dennis Lin a couple of days ago. And this is like the part where baseball could just drive you nuts. Tatis leads Major League Baseball in hard hit rate at 64.7%. That means out of all the balls that he puts in play or that he hits, 64.7% of the time, they're hit 92 miles an hour or above. Maybe it's 96. I think it's 95. It's 95. So every time Fernando hits the ball, 64.7% of that time, it's coming off the bat at 95 miles an hour or harder. He has hit more baseballs hard than Bobby Witt Jr., James Wood, Ben Rice, or virtually anyone else in the sport. Those players are launching balls into orbit, and Tatis is launching line drives directly at fielders. I don't think you could characterize what Fernando's gone through in the first month and a half or month and whatever as a slump. Could you, Frank? I don't really view it as a slump. Not the way he's hitting the ball.
No.
I would consider that more as baseball's version of cruel and unusual punishment. He's doing everything the right way. But why hasn't he homered? The missing ingredient that he doesn't have is lift. Tatis isn't struggling to hit the baseball. He's struggling to elevate the baseball. Career low launch angle, career low fly ball rate, career low pull percentage, too many ground balls and low liners. He's making loud contact, but not dangerous contact. Exit velocity is elite, launch profile, not. And that's really the entire story. But is it a mechanical issue? Is it a little bit of bad luck? According to the article from Dennis Lin, and the answer is both. A rival scout that was noted in this article noted that Tatis is catching too much of the top half of the baseball, creating topspin instead of backspin. That's why so many rockets are staying on a line drive or pounding into the dirt. At the same time, his luck has been downright ridiculous. Even when he squares one up, someone seems to be standing right where he's hitting the ball. It's the baseball equivalent of always picking the slowest checkout lane. Or the baseball equivalent of Franken traffic. That might be the other equivalent. The good news is, though, this usually corrects itself. Tatis is too talented. The underlying metrics are too strong. The swing speed is there. The bat speed is there. The contact quality is there. This isn't a player who's lost at the plate. This is a player who's just one adjustment away from on his lift from going absolutely nuclear. And when it happens, it could happen fast. Like 5 homers in 8 games fast. Because that's who Fernando has always been. Now, the bad news is there's some pressure mounting from Padres fans. Tatis knows it. You can hear it. You can see it. And he works early, hitting after games, grinding in the cage, and still seeing 0 in the home run column. That's where slumps become dangerous for players. When hitters start to try to focus on results, mechanics often start to unravel. And to his credit, Tatis hasn't fully crossed that line yet, and hopefully he doesn't. But the frustration is starting to build. You look at the Padres, they're 19-11 despite getting limited production out of Tatis, Manny, and Jackson. It's encouraging, but it's also a warning. The Padres have survived April. They won't dominate October unless Fernando becomes Fernando again. He doesn't need to carry the offense every night. I think we've seen that with the depth, but he does need to be the guy opponents fear. And right now, pitchers respect him, but they need to fear him again. I think that opens up the lineup for everybody else as well. Now, the bigger picture. Since the 42-homer season in 2021, Tatis has not consistently replicated that power. Injuries, surgeries, suspension, mechanical changes, it's all part of his story. And at some point, this stops being small sample size and starts becoming a legitimate long-term question. Can Fernando still be a 35 to 40-homer superstar? Or is he evolving into a different type of elite player? That's the conversation, and that is the warning sign. Now, my counter to this every time, because everybody always wants to point to like the PED scandal, Frank. My counter to that every time is he's still hitting the ball just as hard as he was on PEDs. Maybe slightly less, but it's still over the threshold and pretty close to the numbers he was when he was on PEDs. The fact that he's not lifting it is not a steroid conversation, in my opinion.
No, that's a swing.
I'm just not lifting it conversation. It's not like he went from these numbers of being the best in baseball on hard hit rate, and then he just plummeted to a level of like middle of the pack. He actually was not hitting the ball this hard when he was on PEDs, and now he is without them. So I think a lot of people like that want to point to this, like, oh, he doesn't have any home runs. He's not on PEDs anymore. It's not a PED conversation. It's very much a swing metric conversation. And here's the part that's difficult, though, Frank, is he knows he's putting the process in. He knows he's getting the results of hitting the ball hard. But when he looks up and his average isn't very high and he sees a 0 in the home run column, all of a sudden, natural human instinct is, I got to start changing some more stuff to try to get that right. And in doing that, he might take away from what has gotten him to the point of hitting the ball hard in the first place. And that's what you can't have.
No, and again, I agree with you the fact that this is a swing launch angle kind of issue with him. He's a guy who I trust will be able to kick out of this. And I think once he gets that first one, they'll be just coming in bunches.
I think it's going to click immediately. I mean, you start looking at his numbers on stuff. His hard hit rate's in the 100th percentile because nobody's better than him. His average exit velo, 94 percentiles, barrel percentage, 85th percentile. His stuff is off the charts. Back to what it was when he first came up. I mean, you see his barrel percentage and hard hit rate go way up. 2020, he was like through the roof on everything, but 2020 was a shortened season. You start looking at all his numbers, a lot of the metrics that he had before PEDs or the scandal, whatever, are the same numbers he has after. And those are the ones that you would think would be a giant increase if you were taking performance-enhancing drugs. So to me, it's more the sense of it's a swing problem. And in just a little bit, we'll take a look at his swing. We'll take a look at what the metrics are. I mean, he's hitting the ball hard. I don't like. This is the first time I've ever seen people complain about somebody hitting the ball hard. Now, in the playoffs, I'm gonna preface this, okay? I think there's a time and a place to use extra analytics and stats, Frank. And to me, April, May, maybe even a June, that's a good time to look at analytics and stats. In the middle of the season, during a couple of week stretches where guys are doing really well or guys are doing really poor, I think that's a time to look at analytics. When you are looking at a full season of numbers from an analytical standpoint in September, and you're trying to justify how the guy who struggled for the first 4 or 5 months of the season is going to turn it around, that falls on deaf ears because eventually you do have to produce. The other time I think analytics are kind of go out the door, maybe for a couple quick tweaks if you are a coach or you're part of the organization. The other time analytics I think are I don't want to hear expected numbers or swing speed or any of that is in the playoffs, because at that point in the season, it doesn't really matter if you're hitting the ball hard. You actually do need results. You will take a soft hit ball, or you will take the luck at that point in time because you have a small window to try to win games. But right now, for a lot of the people that might be rolling their eyes at like hitting the ball hard, now is the time that you look at these and go like, hey, I know he's not getting the numbers right now, but it's not because he's getting worse. It's not because he's falling apart. It's not because he's not the player he used to be anymore.
It's not a regression.
That's when you use these numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And we won't be using these numbers in July. We won't be using these numbers in July and August to explain away why he's not hitting well. It's the first month of the year, and while things may look bad, here's why he's actually doing okay. All of these numbers are showing, as I said, it's not a natural regression that he's going through. He's just getting bad batted ball luck. And that happens over the course of a month of the season. Again, Xander Bogaerts last year saw what happened after that batted ball luck turned. He's been fantastic ever since. So I'm really not concerned about Fernando at all because, like I said, once he gets the first one, he'll be off and running. He'll be fine.
Josh Stein was on with the morning show today as part of our manager's report. The manager's report is brought to you by SDCCU. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. We are going to hear what Josh Stein had to say about the first month of the year by Fernando Tatis Jr. in his mind. We will also give you a roster update. Padres made a roster move this morning. We'll let you know what that is as well as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show. Settings over Sports Station 97 to the Fan. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get to the roster update today for the Padres, shall we? San Diego Padres have activated. Jeremiah Estrada's back. I thought Yuki Matsui is going to be back before Jeremiah Estrada, but Jeremiah Estrada is back. He has been reinstated, if you will. So Jeremiah Estrada has been reinstated from the 15-day injured list, and they have optioned David Morgan to AAA El Paso. That is your update on the roster today, Frank. Not really surprised if Estrada was coming back first. I thought for sure they would make a move with David Morgan. I mean, David Morgan's got options. He's kind of struggled his last couple of outings. So to me, I think this is kind of a clean move for them. But you got Yuki Matsui on the horizon. There might be some other moves that need to be made soon, but this is a relatively easier move, and we'll see what Jeremiah Estrada's got after spending some time in the minor leagues, retooling some of his tools and sets, and hopefully fixed his velocity problem.
Yeah, this is a pretty standard move, I think. David Morgan, of the guys that you can afford to get rid of, he's probably the most obvious one to go, at least at this point. And we'll see now, as you said, with Estrada's velo issues, see if that's turned around for him. He said it's been going up, so maybe whatever was ailing him, he just needed a little bit more time after spring training to let it rest, let it figure itself out. And we'll see. I would assume either tonight or tomorrow how he gets on.
Let's go back to Fernando Tatis Jr. for a second. Okay, so as part of the manager's report today, they had Josh Stein on, and with that, we got a lot of good information out of Josh Stein today. And one of the things that we got was about Fernando Tatis Jr. in the first month of the season. Here's what Josh Stein had to say on the morning show about Fernando Tatis Jr. in the month of April.
Yeah, I think it is interesting, right? Because there's so many, more precise ways to look at, what a hitter's doing. I think that for a long time, and certainly when I was growing up, you would just kind of look at the batting average and the home runs and the RBIs. And, obviously over the last 20, 25 years, we've got a number of new ways to evaluate or look at, what a hitter's doing. And, not unlike most of his career, Fernando continues to hit the ball very hard. I mean, that's something he's really always done, and continues to do it at a high clip. He's barreling the baseball. Exit velocities, hard hit rates, these kind of things are still very high. And sometimes when you get into okay, what are the expectations of those, those batted balls? you can look and say, okay, well, he's underperforming that, right? He's falling short of his expectations. And so, there's a lot of different ways you can look at that. You can chalk that up to just bad luck. You hear Fernando talk about the baseball gods, and I agree with that. He's hit some balls like right on the screws, right at people. That the expectations would be that's a double, that's a triple, and instead it's an out, and it's an 0 for 1, and that can be very frustrating. I think, again, behind the scenes, Fernando continues to put in like great work. He comes every day, with the mentality and the intent to help his team win. I think we've, as much as, people look at the home runs and that certainly is a big part of Fernando's game. And we anticipate that being a big part of his game for the rest of the season. He's getting a lot of key hits. Like, we get back to the record, we get back to talking about some of the things that, different people have done to help us get off to a good start. And I can just off the top of my head think of a lot of, hitting, behind the runner or backing the ball up and taking a single to right field. Even some of his softest hits have been big hits in terms of helping us win baseball games. And, so again, I think, continuing to have good at bats, continuing to swing at the right pitches, and putting in the work that I know he is with our hitting coaches. And I guess the only thing I can say is I've got a lot of faith and trust in Fernando, and I think the Padres fans, should as well. And I think we'll be excited to see his production here going forward.
That's Josh Stein, Executive Vice President, Assistant General Manager of the San Diego Padres, on with Ben and Woods earlier this morning. We're going to hear more from Josh Stein later on in the show, but we do want to take a deeper dive into Fernando's swing metrics and a lot of the inside look of what he's doing from a hitting perspective and why it might lead to not hitting a lot of home runs. I mean, he's obviously hitting the ball very hard. I mean, I don't know how many more times we have to say it. I mean, he, by the numbers, league leading or near elite hard hit percentage. And we've talked about his barrel percentage is extremely high. His exit velocities are elite. His expected stats look fantastic. And we're talking about expected weighted on base average, his expected slugging, yet he doesn't have any home runs. His slugging is stuck around 286, and he's very vocal about it. He's been very frustrated in a lot of articles about, like, I don't know what the bleep is going on. Now, obviously, it's not all just bad luck or small sample. I mean, the Baseball Savant bat tracking charts that you can go see on Baseball Savant, if you look at his data from 2023 through 2026, when they started doing the swing metrics, it's a clear mechanical shift in his swing that explained the disconnect. So elite contact quality, hard hitting barrels, but a flatter swing path that's suppressing the launch angle and the carry. Below, when you go below on the Baseball Savant page, they show all of his swings, and you could see the difference of the swings. So a lot of this information is what a scout confirms what a scout was saying about him putting a top spin on the baseball. And in any type of sport, with baseball or softball, this particular sport, you want to get backspin on the ball because it helps elevate the ball and it helps the ball go out. I noticed, in slow pitch softball, it's exactly what you want to do. You want to almost cut the baseball because you want to get the backspin. And regular baseball, you're not trying to cut it, but with your swing, you still want to generate the backspin of the ball. And that's been a big talking point for a lot of hitting coaches throughout all of baseball. So when you look at this breakdown of his swing, you have to look at a couple of things. And we'll start with his contact point, which is if you go on Baseball Savant and you look at the chart, it's his average intercept X and Y versus batter. So what it means is, imagine the strike zone as a 3D box in front of Tatis, okay? And these metrics pinpoint exactly where the sweet spot of his bat meets the ball relative to his own body, his center of mass, hips, and stuff. So the Y-intercept is the vertical intercept, obviously, like you would, back to grade school. How high or low on the bat path he makes contact. Higher number equals higher elevated contact point. Lower number equals lower elevated contact point. Intercept X, how far out in front of him toward the pitcher or pulled back toward the catcher the contact happens. The bigger the X, reaching out more, extending, lower the X, hitting it back and being late on the baseball. These are like GPS coordinates of contact, if you will, if you're looking at those charts. They affect the launch angle. They affect the power. They affect a lot of different things with the swing. Lower contact points or less extension can kill the carry. So what Fernando's charts show, if you look at his vertical, is Y. Stable-ish until recently. Fastballs held around 25 on the chart, dipped down in 2026, which means lower contact. Breaking balls tend to trended down gradually. Off-speed peaked and then settled lower. In terms of the depth, fastballs and breaking balls trended out in front in 2026, and off-speed was slightly lower. So he's making contact a bit lower and more extended on fastballs and breaking stuff. That could produce hard contact, but often with less natural lift, which is obviously setting up the power drought. Now, if you talk about his average attack direction, now we've talked about this with Jake Cronenworth. That's talking about how he attacks the baseball. So this is like the angle of the swing before you talk about the angle of the launch, if you will. So what this means is it's the horizontal angle of the bat head at impact, like a compass heading, if you will. So 0 degrees is straight away, parallel to home plate. Positive means more pull side swing path, and so for a righty Tatis towards left field. Negative means opposite field path. It tells you if he's inside outing everything or potentially yanking the ball down the line. What his chart shows is his fastballs been more to the pull side. He's been able to pull more fastballs. Breaking balls less negative. Off speed has stayed more oppo, but improved slightly. Overall, he's pulling fastballs more aggressively in 2026, which means good for power if he pairs it with the lift. But as we talk about his swing plane and loft and his average attack angle, this is where things get a little bit different for Fernando. And this is why he doesn't have the same type of juice on his home runs. Attack angle. This is the vertical angle of the bat sweet spot, exactly at contact compared to the flat ground. Positive equals uppercut. 0 equals perfectly level. Negative equals he's chopping down on the ball. We talked about MLB's sweet spot for attack angle. 5 degrees to 20 degrees. That's what you want on your attack angle in Major League Baseball. We talked about that with Jake Cronenworth's swing, where we came to the conclusion that he was uppercutting almost everything. So 5 degrees to 28 degrees is the ideal ramp for homers. Too flat, less than 5 degrees. Line drives, topspin grounders, even on hard contact. Too steep, and you get yourself some pop-ups. His swing path tilt, this is how steeply the bat approaches the zone. Think of it as a slope on a ski ramp leading to the jump. Higher the tilt, steeper the drop from the shoulder into the zone. More loopy path. MLB average is approximately 32 degrees. Flatter tilt, more level path throughout. Now, what his charts show, and this is where the big red flag is for Fernando and his swing, his attack angle drops sharply across the board and worse on fastballs, which is the most common pitch. So before, he was getting an attack angle on a fastball at 9 degrees. That's when he was hitting all these home runs. 9 degrees is in the sweet spot of the 5 degrees to 20 degrees. That has now dropped to about 3 degrees. So it's just slightly above a level swing, which is way flatter than it was. I mean, we're talking about tiny different details that leads to tiny different results. Like we talked about on the roundtable yesterday. So he's trying to get his bat angle from 3 degrees to at minimum 5 degrees. And you can see now how difficult that is to try to do in the middle of an at-bat when guys throwing the ball 100 miles an hour and it's moving all over the place. So that's his attacking on fastballs. It's way flatter. On breaking balls, again, it's gotten flatter. He was at 16 degrees, perfect in the 5 degrees to 20 degrees range. That's now down to 10. Off-speed pitches, 15 degrees. That's dropped to 12 degrees. So his attack angle has flattened across the board in 2026 compared to the years he was hitting home runs. Swing path tilt, mixed results, but trending flatter on fastballs with off-speeds spiking steeper in 2026, almost up to 33 degrees. Again, you want that to be around 32, so his swing path tilt's not the worst. Tatis's swing has lost a ton of natural uppercut. He's still squaring balls up as at elite rates, hence the barrels, but the path is too flat. lower launch angles, more line drives and screamers that don't carry. And this is, I think, the number one mechanical reason for no home runs despite crushing the ball. Not only do I think this is what some of the people around the organization have been talking about with Fernando and what he's been trying to work on to try to get that lift. Tony talked about on the roundtable. He's trying to work on that swing. He's working on his swing. He's trying to get enough of the lift on the attack angle of the bat. This is just the more metric way of explaining it than the eye test that Tony saw and what the team is saying, on top of, obviously, these particular metrics giving them the trigger for them to go work on this. Now, his efficiency of the plane, I mean, raw power tools, payoff metrics. I mean, these are all things that we will dive into later about Fernando's swing. But the biggest red flag is his attack angle. He is swinging at a more level swing, and it's leading to less home runs and leading to more line drives and ground ball outs. He just needs to slightly tweak his attack angle, and I think he's going to start getting a lot of home runs. But Frank, as you go through all of that, it might seem like it's an easy switch to just change your attack angle, but he dropped all the way down to 3 degrees, which is below the threshold of 5 to 20. He was at his peak when he was swinging at 9 degrees on the attack angle. Now, you're working on that in practice, and you try to implement that in the game while you're also trying to go through an approach. This is not something that just, let me just swing at a 9-degree attack angle.
No, I wouldn't even know how to begin to figure out how to get my hands around for a 9-degree attack angle, especially when I'm trying to predict what the pitcher's going to throw, this, that, and the other. So it's not going to be an easy, quick change for him. Good news is, again, he's hitting the ball hard. He's showing no regression of age. It's a much like Jake, it's a mechanical issue.
We'll talk about some of his power numbers when we come back. We'll also hear again from Josh Stein on a couple other updates. What's Lucas Giolito up to? We'll get to that in the 11 o'clock hour. Braden Surprenant Show, Settings Roman Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. Oh, we're cooking over here. We're cooking. We got something in store for you guys. Maybe next week, maybe a little bit later. What are your thoughts on that, Frank? On what I just told you?
I'm good for it. I like it. Like the idea.
This is the first time I've ever seen something like this. I got it last night. I was laughing my ass off. It was the funniest thing ever. More in store next week. Maybe the week after. Who knows? 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. All right.
Just really, really quick, because the Cubs game is starting now, which, by the way, thank you, Cubs, for playing.
Wow, we got a
day
National
during
League.
the
Well,
midday.
it's a Friday. It's a Friday.
Cubs Diamondbacks are playing. My uncle, who I've mentioned on here before, is a huge Cubs fan. So we're talking all weekend about the games, and I texted him because I was there on Friday, right? Not Friday, Tuesday. I went. I texted him. I said, I am just making an observation, but I have never seen so many people congregated in one place that were all gingers with beards and mustaches than the Cubs broadcast booths. Like, as far as their tech guys.
Really?
Like, they all...
That's a very odd thing to just bring up out of nowhere.
Seeing the Cubs just made me think of it. Seeing the Cubs.
That's the observation that you just described?
Yeah, that was, like everyone.
You didn't see
a ginger with a beard and mustache.
You didn't see Crumb over there?
No, with the
Crumb usually does the away broadcast.
Crumb was down on the field. But for like walking around in the press box and the television side, it was everybody who was with the Cubs.
Let's real quick, Frank. Let's finish up this conversation on Fernando. Here's some of the other things too that, ideal attack angle percentage. This is, percentage of his competitive swings that land in that sweet spot, that power zone. And so the attack angle, we've learned a lot on this show already. The attack angle that you want, Frank, is 5 to 20 degrees. That's for the biggest power. And when you have the ideal attack angle percentage, that is, just like hard hit percentage, it's how many times you're able to create that ideal attack swing on your swing. So here's what his charts show. I think this is a little glaring. This goes back to his, the biggest red flag for why Fernando's not hitting home runs. And again, it's the simple adjustments of his attack angle on his swing. He is not in the 5 degree, 20 degree attack angle on the swing that creates the lift that you want. He's actually below that, so what it means is he is swinging parallel.
He's got a flatter swing.
His swing is flatter than it was in the years prior when he was hitting the ball over the fence. So that ideal range is 5 degrees to 20 degrees. When he does that well, when he checks that box, he gets the percentage points, right? For the ideal attack angle percentage. This is what his chart shows on Baseball Savant. Okay. This is what his charts show. The fastballs that he used to hit. What is going on? Oh, he's looking for a bat. Okay, he's going to display. I'm like, what is he doing? I thought there was like. Anyway, I got distracted. Squirrel. All right, so anyway, the ideal attack angle percentage. So when he hits the ideal attack angle, this is the percentage of times that he's able to do that. Okay, so 5 degrees to 20 degrees. When he was hitting home runs in the earlier part of his career, he was on fastballs getting the ideal attack angle 69% of the time. You follow me so far?
Nice.
In 2026, it's 41%. So
Not as nice.
Not great. Breaking and off-speed pitches actually have improved. He's actually up on that. So, but since fastballs dominate, and that's usually a ball that you can put over the fence a lot more, his overall efficiency took a hit. I mean, he's barreling balls, but fewer of them are on the ideal loft plane, if you will, especially against fastballs. When you look at his raw power tools, bat speed, swing length, the bat speed, of course, is the miles per hour of the sweet spot, 6 inches from the barrel end to contact. Higher is more force transferred, only counts competitive swings. Swing length, total feet the bat head travel, whatever. What his charts show is bat speed's up overall, especially on off-speed pitches. Fastballs and breaking are stable to slightly up. Swing length has been shortened on fastballs, which means, he's swinging harder and faster than ever in spots, but the shorter path on the fastballs and flatter angle, hard contact without the pop for the homers. If you look at the payoff metrics, which is hard hit percentage and barrel percentage, his charts show that it's consistently high across years, and 2026 is also elite again. Older charts show he's always had the boom potential when healthy. I mean, the contact quality is not the problem, as we've discussed. He's still generating the hard, squared-up contact that should produce home runs. It's more of the swing path.
Yeah. So, of course, of all the things that they take out of the studio, the one thing that I need is one of the things they do. So he is, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, he's got his timing in. He's got his eye in for what you're talking about, but what he's doing here with the swing path is coming through level. It's coming through flat. So he's not getting like kind of how Jake, we're talking about Jake getting like that uppercut swing. Fernando doesn't have that upward path to be able to get under the ball. So he's coming in level and just kind of just meeting it where it's at and not getting under it. If he gets under it, just because he swung under it. So that's what he's trying to work on right now is to get rid of this and start to get a little bit more uppercut to it.
Jake is swinging way too high.
Yeah, Jake is doing,
and Fernando is not swinging high enough. That's the two mechanics that you got to be looking for when it comes to Fernando and Jake. Jake, too much of an upward cut. Fernando, too much of a level swing. That's basically what it comes down to. Now,
so if they could just swap real quick.
But the reality is, though, Frank, as we talked about on the roundtable, that is not something that just like automatically happens. Like when you try to make that adjustment, he's doing it in practice. He's trying to do it, when he gets cage time. He's doing it before games. He's doing it after games, and then he has to apply it in games. And we're talking about the littlest of changes on his swing.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about 9 degrees compared to 3 degrees, right? That's a 6-degree difference. It's not even that.
That's more or less from like, bless you, from like this.
Yeah, get your protractor out. It's not
It's
much
tiny.
of a difference. It's hard to do, right? I mean, even if he does the minimum of 5 degrees, that's 2-degree difference. So he's working on it. He's trying to get that done. He's also trying to go through an at-bat. He's trying to fight off really good pitchers. He's trying to have his approach at the plate. I mean, these are things that don't automatically change. I mean, you could work in the cage on it over and over and over again. You'll make slight adjustments. You'll slowly start making the adjustments. But until you can make it a habit, it's going to take some time to really dive in on that new swing adjustment. It's hard to make that a part of your swing, especially in the season. So I know they're working on it, because if you go game by game on the swing metrics on Baseball Savant, again, you can go look at this information. It's out there on Baseball Savant. You could tell, like, Jake, especially Jake, because we've looked at his individual day numbers. He's had games where he's been 100% on the ideal attack angle, and there's been games where he's been not that great. So from that perspective, he's making the adjustments, but it's going to take some time before you start seeing the results on that. And I think once Fernando gets one home run, you're going to start seeing a lot more. But I think these are all mechanical issues more than anything else. Obviously, they get frustrated a lot, and Fernando's been frustrated. What he cannot do is let that mental side and that human emotional side take over, because that's when, in your adjustment process, you start changing other things that don't need to be changed, that are dialed in, and it starts affecting your entire swing. And that's where you go into a slump. Right now, I don't consider what Fernando is in a slump, because he's hitting the ball hard. I just think he's got a little bit of bad luck, and he's trying to find that pure swing that leads to home runs. But based on all the other metrics, this is another situation where you think the home runs are going to come. He's doing everything right. And with the metrics that he is doing right, mixed with a slight bat tilt, balls are going to be jumping off his bat over the fence.
Yeah, for sure. I don't. Once he gets that right, he's going to be fine. And once he hits that first one, like I said last hour, they're gonna come in bunches for him. He's not off to a slow start because he's not timing it up. He's not hitting it. He's not barreling the ball. He's got all that stuff down. It's just a swing plane problem for him. And Steph in the chat saying that I should be the hitting coach. If you saw how I hit in high school, funny because my high school baseball coach was here. It was in the chat yesterday. You would know that you would not want me anywhere near professional athletes as far as a hitting coach. I was one that was very, very good at taking in information, not performing said information, which is why I'm here.
Those that can't do teach, Frank.
Exactly.
I will say this. I want to preface this too. This is not information that they don't know about.
Exactly.
This is what they are actually working on. This is what we know that they are probably working on. They probably have more detailed analytics than this. They probably have a more approach than this. Obviously, these guys know what they're doing. But this is just kind of a look for us to explain to the fans that, yes, they are working on this. Yes, there is reason for optimism. This is the data that we're going off of to say it's going to work out, instead of us just going like, let's just get the fans excited by saying we think it's going to work out when there's no data to back it up. This is the data to back it up. So overall for Fernando, the swing data paints a very crystal clear picture for him on why he's not hitting home runs. Tatis is making better, harder contact than most players ever do, but his vertical swing plane has flattened. Attack angle has dropped, lower ideal percentage on fastballs, lower Y intercept. That turns potential moonshots into hardline drives or low-flying balls that die at the warning track or get caught. Shorter swing length on fastballs and slight contact point shifts compound it. He's pulling more on heaters, which is good, but without the loft, it doesn't really matter. So this is a classic look of quality contact but suboptimal launch on the swing. Add in the 30-game sample size. Home runs are lumpy. Even the best sluggers have cold stretches. And maybe you get some bad luck on fly balls he is hitting also. And you get the current slump that he is in, if you want to consider it. It's a home run slump than anything else. I don't think it's like an overall slump in general.
Salty Taco in the chat. Tatis struck out more in 1 month than Gwynn did in an entire season. That's just baseball today. It's baseball today has that mentality of all or nothing. So every player is striking out at an obscene rate during a month. That's not surprising to me at all.
But his expected weighted on base average, his expected slug, that screams some positive regression is coming. The regression back to the mean, as Frank said yesterday on the show. But, bottom line for this is, Tatis isn't broken. He's just in a mechanical flat plane phase that's muting his elite tools. And history says he adjusts fast, injury-riddled past or not. Watch for him to get the uppercut back, and the homers will explode. I mean, this guy is still a generational talent. The power drought is temporary. The charts don't lie. The swing is close. And I'm not overall worried about it. That was the deep dive into his swing to let you guys know that I'm not worried about this. I mean, that's my big takeaway from looking at these numbers. Let's see what he does when he adjusts. Now, if he doesn't hit a home run, if he continues to not hit home runs and the adjustment has been made and he's getting that loft, I think you have a little bit more cause for concern. But until he starts getting enough metrics done and gets more at bats in which he can get more loft on his swing, which Tony mentioned yesterday he was working on, I don't think it's time to worry about Fernando. I really don't.
No.
And he's still contributing even though he's not putting the ball over the fence. I get you want it tomorrow. I get you want it like as soon as possible. But the reality is this is a mechanical thing that he's working on. And that's all that really needs to be said about that.
Case closed.
Okay. You were waiting all that time for that, weren't you?
No, I just thought of that like 30 seconds ago.
I had somebody ask me why we don't have City Connect graphics.
Because they came in late yesterday, but we will have them ready for next week.
All right. That works for me. Scraby's having issue with those, by the way. So
that's cool.
Heads up on that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you want to join the show today, I just, out of all of the problems that the Padres have, I think a lot of them, when you start looking at the metrics for any of these guys, you realize that it's not a talent issue. It's not an age issue. They're not losing their juice that I think a lot of people are just terrified about because they're afraid of like the contracts and all that fun stuff. A lot of it's just a couple of mechanical things that happen in the middle of the season. It's just, I think it's also overemphasized, Frank, because it's happened at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Johnny asked, like, so what did they do during the offseason? Why wasn't he working on his swing? Well, maybe he wasn't having these. Maybe his swing was dialed in the offseason. I mean, you're going to go through phases like as a hitter where your swing's not to where you want it to be and your swing is different. I mean, I don't know what he's working on during the offseason. I can imagine he's probably taking fly balls and stuff, but until you start applying it to games, Frank.
He's also allowed to live and be a human being as well.
That is, well, yeah, that's also true. I mean, he can't hit 24/7. But he's got to lift weights. He's got to do all that other stuff. I'm sure they were working on his swing. I mean, he was hitting home runs in the WBC. It's not like he wasn't doing that.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
He had a grand slam, did he not, against Israel?
That's what I'm looking for.
He hit a home run. I mean, he looked good in the WBC, and a couple of things happened, and now all of a sudden you got to get back to that. That's going to happen over the course of 162. That's going to happen for guys that are hitting the ball well. Constant adjustments. When we come back, we'll get to your phone calls. Eric at Chula Vista, stay on hold. We'll get to you when we come back. We will also hear more from what Josh Stein had to say on the manager's report this morning with Ben and Woods, an update on Lucas Giolito, and a couple other things that we want to pass along on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing Summer Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. 11:23 on a Friday. City Connect Friday. Party in the park today. Padres, White Sox. Should be a fun time this weekend. Continuing the Chicago series, the Chi-Town Showdown, if you will. Played the Cubs earlier this week. Fortunately, lost 2 out of 3. Got to bounce back against the White Sox. There's some local connections, obviously, with this White Sox team. Manager Will Venable, who is on the morning show today, former San Diego Padre, part of this deal. They also have Chase Mydroth, former USD Torero, on the team as well. Those are the only two that stick out to me at this point. Jared Kelenic is on the White Sox. Did you know that?
Sure.
Yeah, Jared Kelenic's on the White Sox.
Okay.
I look at this team and I like teams like from the American League Central. I go like, I'm sorry, Sir Anthony Dominguez is on the White Sox.
He still exists.
Listen to this pitching staff. Do you know anybody on the pitching staff of the White Sox?
Drew Thorpe. That's about it.
No.
He's not even there?
He's not on the big league club.
Oh, God.
I don't know where he's at. How about this for names on the pitching staff for the White? Don't look it up.
I'm not.
Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Okay.
What about our guy, Eric Fetty?
Okay.
Jordan Hicks is a White Sox. Did you know Jordan Hicks was a White Sox?
Boy, when you can't make it on the San Francisco Giants after they won the trade deadline, you can't make it anywhere.
Sean Newcomb, Chicago White Sox.
Okay. That actually makes a lot of sense.
We knew Miguel Vargas was a White Sox. Luis Angel Acuna.
Yeah, I knew that one.
We knew that Jerry Reinsdorf traded for the wrong Acuna. Poor Andrew Benintendi, dude. Forgot that guy was still stuck in Chicago.
Or as Christopher Mad Dog Russo likes to call him, Bianetti.
Jared Kelenic, Chicago White Sox.
Can't miss him.
833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Eric in Chula Vista. You wanted to weigh in. Eric, what's going on, man?
Up, guys? Great show today, as always, man. Good job. I like the thing you're doing with the launch angle and the angle of attack. That's a stat that I'm a stat guy, and those are stats that most normal people really don't have access to unless they really dig deep. So I think that says a lot about what's going on in the batter's box. And the good point is like you say, I mean, his exit velo on all his hits seem to be like 105 and up. So I mean, it's good that he's hitting the ball really hard. And I'm assuming eventually, I'm hoping eventually it's going to come around. When you're talking about degrees and angles of attack as a golfer and people who don't golf, you don't realize how much a half a degree or 1 degree can turn a ball from going right down the middle to 30 or 40 yards right of the fairway or left of the fairway. So like I say, hopefully he's tinkering in the right direction and gets his angle of attack going because, I mean, like you said, he's still hitting the ball hard, and it's just a matter of time before he starts elevating it. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Eric. Thank you very much. And this is not like an easy adjustment. And you know it's not an easy adjustment because as Eric made the golf comparison, you try to do that every single time you go up to golf. You can't do that. Somebody in the YouTube chat was talking about he has 112 at-bats already. This should have been fixed by now. So my response would be, all right, well, if it's not fixed, then what do you do? If they already tried it and it hasn't been fixed, what's your plan now? What, are you going to bench him? How do you fix it then? If it was so obvious. Come on, man. Do we really think that the guys that are getting paid to fix his swing are incapable of doing said things?
Yes.
And it's so easy from a little league coach perspective. I mean,
Yes.
come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
I lost. I was buying into what he was saying, and then he dropped the little league coach thing, and I was like, oh, okay. That's almost as worse as the Sportsplex manager situation with the Craig Stammen thing. It's like, come on, man. Come on. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. I did want to play a little bit more from Josh Stein. And let's go back with like the April side of things. So obviously we talk a lot about the negative a lot of time on this show, but I do want to get to what went right for the team in the month of April. Here's Josh Stein on the morning show today.
Yeah, I mean, I think you ultimately start with, you know, the record, and, you know, it's what we're here to do, is to put a team on the field that is winning baseball games and finding a way to win baseball games. I think we've, you know, collectively, you know, done a great job up and down the roster of and the coaching staff really of putting players in great positions to succeed, and, you know, finding a way to win close ball games. And again, there's no, you know, there doesn't tend to be one thing, you know, in a you know, to win a one-run game or to have a comeback. You know, it can be the bullpen, you know, when you're trailing by 1 or 2 or 3 runs, you know, holding that deficit. It's allowing the offense, you know, more time to come back from a manageable deficit. Obviously, it's, you know, winning the games that you have a 1 or 2 run lead in the middle innings. And I think it's, again, a testament to, you know, really a strong bullpen. You know, some pitchers that have done very well keeping us in games, kind of up and down that rotation. And then I think we've all seen it, you know, timely hitting and, you know, the ability to come back or get that 2-out RBI single that, you know, puts you ahead in the 6th or 7th inning. You know, those things have kind of gone right this month, and I think the record is a reflection of that.
So too. They had a lot of things go right in the month of April, just as they've had some bad things go wrong in the month of April. The running out different lineups each night is interesting, but not that interesting. What's the latest update on Lucas Giolito, according to Josh Stein?
Lucas went up, made his second start and got into the 5th inning last night. And again, I think we are seeing, what we hoped when we signed him, in terms of understanding that there's going to be a build up here, and, you know, probably at least, a couple more starts before, we feel, real good, and probably going to progress in terms of working, up at a higher level here in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, just another, another, veteran, experienced starting pitcher that we feel, good about, giving the ball to and sliding into the rotation. And in terms of exactly when that is, that'll be kind of determined here in the next, based on how Lucas continues to feel and work his way back, and kind of the needs of our rotation. But to answer your question, yeah, we are happy with what we've seen, with Lucas and the work that he's putting in.
That was assistant general manager of the San Diego Padres, Josh Stein, on with the morning show as part of the manager's report presented by SDCCU. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Let's get out to the phones one more time. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Martin in El Cajon. Martin, what's going on, man?
Yeah, not much. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I just think people need to reset their expectations for Fernando. I mean, these elite stats, that was 2021. It's been, 5 seasons since. Since then, he's, broken 80 RBIs. I don't think he's broken 80 RBIs since then. He hasn't hit more than 25 home runs then. He scored over 100 runs last year, and that's great. But other than that, I don't know why everyone continues to call him elite based on one season. That's all I got to say.
I appreciate the phone call, Martin. I disagree with that, but do you disagree with that, Frank?
Well, I think when we come back, we'll take a look at the numbers and see what that is.
Ryan Santia is on hold as well. When we come back, we'll take a look at is Fernando elite or not. I do think the expectation of 42 home runs, I think, is ridiculous. It's going to be, if you're upset that he hasn't had that many home runs, I do agree on that particular standpoint. The guy is an elite athlete. I mean, he's doing elite things. It's just not getting the results right now on the stat sheet. And that's what people care about. We'll get your phone calls and more when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 The Fan.
Quinn and
11:39 on a Friday. A lot of talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. today. I think he's going to turn it around, guys. Guy's an insane athlete. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. This is where, but when he struggles, you start getting, the rumors of, oh, he can't do this, or, oh, he's not this, oh, he's this. It's like, does anybody actually know if that's actually going on? I can't wait for him to go on. I mean, he might go on a tear soon. By the way, before we get to the phone calls, I was at Cathedral yesterday, and I go into the weight room, and some of my football players are in there. They usually work out in the mornings, but the spring sport guys were in there. Some of the spring sport guys, and one of the sophomores last year, he's going to be a junior in the fall. He's on the JV team. He goes, Coach, because they have iPads at Cathedral, right?
Yeah.
I told you about this. He goes, Coach, I got all the iPads shut down in my class the other day. I'm like, why? He's like, he was like, the teacher got mad. I was watching your show on the iPad. He called it a podcast. He had no idea. Kids have no idea that we're a live radio show. He was like, I was watching your podcast on the on my iPad in class, and I said, you're not supposed to do that. He was like, yeah, I know, but I told the teacher he's a Don's alum. I'm just supporting the alumni. Plus, I'm supporting my coach. The teacher did not like it, so all the iPads got shut down.
Okay.
In the classroom.
First of all,
I think he makes a valid point.
First of all,
He draws the foul.
Foul for listening in class.
I told him don't listen in class.
We say it all the time.
We do.
Not to do that. Number 2.
He draws the foul.
Foul for talking back to the teacher. However,
but to be fair,
brother maxed out on the speech skill tree. That was perfect. What a defense. I would have been like, you know what? Fine.
Aren't we supposed to support the Don's community, Mr. Whoever? I'm just supporting the Don's community. He's a Don's alumni, and he's one of my coaches. You know what? I think that's a valid answer.
He maxed out the speech skill tree. Good job for that. At least, do you have a debate class in there?
I'm sure they do. I don't know if the classes are at that school anymore.
He should try out, because I would have been so dumbfounded by that answer that I would have said, you know what, fine, whatever.
You know what? Why doesn't the teacher already know that? They should know. They should know.
Your picture isn't hung up on the wall.
No, it's definitely not.
Among all of the other great Cathedral Catholic alums.
All the great Cathedral Catholic radio hosts.
Like professional athletes and all that. You're a professional.
Me and Mike Costa, the radio guys, made it through as Dons. A lot of great Dons out there. The agent for Shohei Ohtani's a Don. Nezzy Bolello.
Oh, I was going to say, isn't he in jail? But no.
No,
okay. I was thinking of the wrong guy. I was thinking of the wrong guy.
Okay. Easy.
Brain fart.
I will say this. Billy Epler was the general manager of the Angels. Don. Nezzy Bolello was the agent of Shohei Ohtani. Don. They could have helped out with the pods. I'm just saying, you know what? They could have.
I think Billy Epler was the Met GM.
He was the Mets GM after that. Yes, I saw my career day. By the way.
Oh, there you go. Oh yes, you did tell me that. Yes.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Ron and Santee who called in. Ron, what's going on, man?
Hey, I got an observation for you that everyone's probably thought of before. I watched the WBC and really enjoyed watching the Dominicans play, the joy and everything they had. And they had Fernando and Albert Pujols on the side there, and Albert Pujols was convincing Fernando to lift his elbow a little bit higher when he was in his batting stance. And I was just wondering if anybody had noticed that or that had anything to do with his current issues.
I don't know. I didn't see that. That's an interesting observation, though, and something that we'll definitely watch for in the next game. See if that's something that is part of it. I think a lot of people have turned into swing coaches too, Frank, on social media. You've seen the leg kick, the non-leg kick. You've seen a lot of different metrics. The things that we could see that are data-driven on Baseball Savant, his swing path is more flat than it was when he was hitting a lot of home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest difference.
And he did have 2 in the WBC.
He did. He did have 2 in the WBC.
But again, he was also facing like shopkeepers and
that's rude.
it's also a fact.
That's rude to those players.
Also a fact.
I mean, you're a producer. Why aren't you on that team? You're a producer.
I should have been. I would have played for Team Italy and no problem.
Should try out next time.
Okay.
Derek in La Mesa. What do you got for us today, Derek?
What's going on, man? Hey, it's another glorious day in the greater booming metropolis of Klamath Falls, Oregon. It's a 72-degree day. And my dog, Loki, the Rhodesian Ridgeback, and I are making a road trip back to the motherland. And looking forward to listening to the Padres smash the ChiSox on the radio. And Toddy's going to be just fine, man. I mean, I would love to have the record for hitting the most amount of smashes in 1 month and having people talk about how much I'm slumping. That'd be amazing, right?
I got to ask you, Derek. Derek, you played some ball in college. I mean, you are a baseball player. Have you ever had a coach be mad at you for hitting the ball hard?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, you know, Braden, me being a Punch and Judy leadoff guy that made a living off of killing worms right at home plate and bouncing balls to the right side of the shortstop and using my speed, I wouldn't know of such a thing. But, yeah, I'm pretty confident Tatis squaring balls up all month. Probably not a lot of harsh words out of the hitting coach for the Padres.
I agree with you there, Derek. All right, Derek, have a good trip up in Oregon. Keep you posted on what's going on with the Padres. Look forward to hearing how many home runs Arson Fudge hits by Monday.
Yeah, you got it, brother. Frank, I have a feeling I'm going to have to come up with a little switch on the bit because now we have today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So I'm looking at multiples. You guys have a great day. Have a great weekend, and we'll yak soon.
All right, sounds good, Derek. Appreciate the phone call, bud.
Why does everyone go to Italy except me?
He was in Oregon.
Yeah, I know. He said he's going to the motherland.
It's his motherland.
Oh.
It's slightly different.
Gotcha.
I don't know. You're filing for a passport. Why don't you go?
Probably could do that now.
You probably could, but you're going to somewhere else. You're going somewhere else.
No, I'm not.
Guy's not going to the motherland.
I'm
you know
not going
what?
anywhere.
You're going not to Italy.
I'm going
which
nowhere.
Is a foul on you, by the way. If you're going to fly internationally for the first time, it should be.
I'm not going anywhere.
To Rome.
I'm not going anywhere.
Roma.
I'm not going anywhere.
Dan in Arizona. Good to meet you the other day. Thanks for calling in. What's going on, Dan?
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
I've been listening about all the talk about the pitching, the starters, and the bullpen. Let's move ahead a couple of weeks when Giolito is here and when Canning is here. And I think what they need to do is to take Buehler and put him in the bullpen. He should be like a 1 or 2 inning guy. He seems to do okay the first time, maybe second time through the lineup. And I think that Marinaccio, if they have to DFA him, so be it. If Waldron has to be DFA'd, so be it. And I think Hart goes to the minors and you keep Rodriguez in the bullpen. Of course, Yuki should also be back. And that's my take on the pitching staff. And that's, I think, how we solve this until we get Musgrove and Pivetta back, if we get them back. What do you think?
Well, there's a couple of those ideas floating around about maybe him piggybacking off of somebody else. Walker Buehler, maybe he goes to the bullpen. I know the Padres are weighing all their options when Giolito comes back. Canning is expected to be back hopefully next week, where they have to make another roster move. But they're going to have some very difficult decisions to make. Very difficult decisions to make. Dan, we appreciate the phone call. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's go to today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what we got going on in the sports world today?
Oh, we got a couple of things going on here.
Number 1.
Do you want to start with the thing that could possibly become a segment, or do you want to?
Let's
start with something else. Okay. The NBA is pushing for tighter federal oversight of prediction markets, urging the Commodity Futures Trade Commission to impose stricter rules to protect game integrity. In a formal letter, the league warned that these markets, platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket, pose risks to similar to sports betting, particularly if players, officials, or team personnel can participate. The NBA highlighted concerns around niche markets like officiating decisions and injuries being vulnerable to manipulation, and it's advocating for stronger safeguards, including age restrictions and closer data sharing cooperation between leagues and the platforms. Are prediction markets just another form of fan engagement, or do they create a real threat to the integrity of leagues like the NBA if not tightly regulated? The NBA, which, by the way, has a very, very good track record with gambling such issues, especially this year.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they can do it, right? And then, can we all win on this? No. I don't know how many times I gotta say it's a slippery slope. And here's the deal: everybody's ratings are through the roof. Why are they through the roof? Is it because every sport is at its height right now? It's because every sport is so entertaining. Every sport is so evenly matched. It's because people can gamble on almost everything when it comes to sports. People are watching all these sports because they want to watch the gamble in real time. And so, yeah, they're going to keep pushing for that. But yes, it does affect the integrity of the game. Look how easy it was for Sorsby to make a ton of bets. And in the article that they reported, Sorsby was going to rehab for gambling, the Texas Tech quarterback, the former Cincinnati quarterback. They had all the betting lines on how this affects Texas Tech's win total, how it affects Sorsby's Heisman chances, how it affects how Texas, just all of the betting was still in. It's like, oh, and by the way, here's how it affects all the odds that he's going to rehab for a gambling addiction. But yet all these teams are like, yeah, this is great. Like we could allow the gambling and partner with gambling, and then all the players are just gonna not do it. Give me a break.
Can we go back to the 90s when gambling was the worst thing ever? Please. Come on.
Number 2.
The future of Live Golf is suddenly in question after Saudi Arabia's public investment fund announced it will stop funding the league after this season, ending a run of more than $5 billion in backing. In response, Live Golf has formed a new independent board to explore survival options ranging from new investors to restructuring formats or even potential partnerships, while still honoring massive player contracts for stars such as John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau. Despite claims of growing revenue, the league faces major uncertainty without its primary financial engine, raising real doubts about whether it can sustain itself long term. If the public investment fund walks away, is there a realistic path for Live Golf to survive, or was this always a venture that was dependent entirely on outside money?
Well,
when you signed the players that you signed for the big contracts they got, it was all about money.
Well, here's the thing. You need the financial backing to get all those players there, which starts. But at that time, you need to make it entertaining to then survive it on your own. The checks that were being written were to try to, aside from like what they were actually trying to do. But in terms of any sports league, you get a bunch of money up front to like kind of start off, and then you have to find ways to generate money on your own. And if you can't generate money on your own, it's just an empty money pit. And that's exactly what Live Golf was, because they never flipped anybody over to watch. They came up with a couple of interesting ideas, and they brought over some golfers, but they weren't playing at any of the big courses. They never really got anybody's attention, and they had like a 1.5 year to basically do that, and that was it. So they failed on that. It's a failed league again, and I can't wait to see all these Live golfers back at the PGA Tour.
Yep,
it's gonna be great.
Matt, I'm going to time you out. Happy birthday.
His birthday's tomorrow.
We don't have a show tomorrow.
You could probably text him if you wanted to. There's your birthday shout out, Matt. Matt's 25. Jeez.
It's a tournament going to 76 teams, baby.
We're going to talk about that when we come back. It's crazy.
beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour of the Fan, brought to you by the Craft Taco, both flavors in 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant.
You forget every day that comes immediately after.
You could do it. Well, sometimes you don't click it every day.
I'm ready to click it every day.
Now you are.
No, I have been.
Wow, you've been on a little bit of a streak there. You know what? He's back. Maybe fueled up on some tacos.
So you raising your voice at me?
I am. Everybody can see. Everybody can hear you. So great. Too busy. You got one chirping at you in the chat still.
Okay.
He's always doing that. You can't punt on a Manny Machado prime year, but can Frank wish Matt a happy birthday?
I did. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I was only going to time him out because he was spamming it in the chat.
He was.
I saw it.
Keep clicking your Excel boxes. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. All right, let's get into this conversation about the NCAA tournament. So, the NCAA appears poised to expand March Madness from 68 teams to 76 teams. And while that may sound like a modest tweak, the reaction across college basketball has been anything but subtle. Most coaches aren't exactly throwing confetti for the expansion of the tournament. I don't really think anybody is. Some quotes for you, like Matt Painter, Purdue's head coach, summed up the prevailing sentiment perfectly. He said the tournament is already special. It doesn't need fixing. Yet, like most major changes in college sports these days, this one feels less about improving the product and more about maximizing future revenue and satisfying power conference interests. That's coming from a coach of a power conference school, Frank.
But it was needed. Bruce Pearl's kid didn't make the tournament last year.
Oh, my God. What was the report you had for this for the sports thread before we dive into it?
NCAA on the verge of expanding both its men's and women's tournaments to 76. The formal announcement expected soon and implementation as early as this year. The move driven more by increased access for power conference at large teams by revenue would expand the current first 4 into a larger play-in round, adding 8 more teams and games while keeping the traditional 64-team bracket intact. While this creates more opportunities, especially for borderline teams, it also raises questions about competitive balance and whether the exclusivity of March Madness is being diluted.
Yeah, I think it's terrible. It's not really about access. I mean, they need to stop spewing that BS. Nobody's buying it. This is about inventory. The NCAA knows that when its television deal expires in 2032, 8 additional tournament slots mean more games, more programming, and ultimately more what, Frank?
More money.
More money. And all the coaches know it. And the key issues that coaches have is it's not about basketball. Coaches largely believe this is a financial decision. Power conferences want more bids for bubble teams. More bids means more revenue shares for those leagues. The NCAA gains more leverage in future TV negotiations. Santa Clara's head coach Herb Sendek raised the broader concern that college basketball lacks centralized leadership capable of evaluating how all these changes affect the sport as a whole. I think you could say the same about football. Instead, the NCAA continues patching holes while the ship is already taking on massive water. I mean, even the selection process is BS. Expansion doesn't solve the biggest problem, which is inconsistent selection criteria. Matt Painter's frustration centers on how the committee applies metrics selectively. Indiana State in 2024 was excluded despite having a net ranking of 29, better resume metrics than multiple at-large teams, and a strong overall profile. Meanwhile, North Carolina got in the following year with a worse net and a dreadful 1-12 quad 1 record. We're not talking about the number of spots. That's not the issue. The issue is who gets the spots. Who actually benefits from this? Well, bubble teams in the Power Four, SEC, Big 10, ACC, Big 12. Coaches on the hot seat, right? Athletic department seeking tournament revenue. The NCAA's future television negotiations. Kelvin Sampson, the Houston head coach, said the quiet part out loud. Expansion will save coaching jobs. That's part of it. That's probably the single biggest reason many administrators support it. Losers are one-bid leagues, traditional Cinderella stories, mid-majors fighting for at-large consideration, and fans who value exclusivity. Rich are getting richer, and now they're adding a second dessert. Mid-major program, or mid-major problem. This is where things get messy. Mid-majors already face enormous structural disadvantages. Their best players transfer upward. They're basically farm teams now. High majors often refuse home-and-home series. With these mid-major programs, scheduling quality opponents is increasingly difficult, and selection metrics reward power conference opportunities, not mid-majors. Expanding the tournament doesn't address any of those problems. In fact, it actually makes those problems worse. And the hidden cost of this, of course, is the fewer true Cinderella opportunities.
Augie, haven't you been listening? Why have an exclusive playoff if everyone can participate? It is an exclusive playoff. It's exclusive to the power conferences.
That's right.
Pay attention, dude. Come on.
Correct. The likely format also would require that more low-seeded automatic qualifiers to play in the first four. That means 4 additional conference champions won't immediately enter the round of 64. More mid-majors will have to survive Dayton just to reach the main bracket, and traditional upset seed lines could shift downward. Cinderella now has to clear TSA before getting to the ball. They have to go through security first to make the tournament. You get the scheduling traps, too. Miami of Ohio became the poster child this season. Undefeated regular season, lost in conference tournament, bubble team, no quad one opportunities. And why? Because the power conferences control scheduling and often avoid dangerous mid-majors, like a Miami of Ohio, like a San Diego State, Frank. This is a system designed to protect incumbents. Johnny Tower offered a very intriguing solution in this article in The Athletic. Reserve a few at-large spots specifically for elite mid-majors. That would encourage better non-conference scheduling, reward excellence outside of power leagues, and preserve the spirit of March. But don't hold your breath on that. I think the Cinderella matters. It's what helped make the tournament what it is. That's why it's exciting. That's the heart of the issue here. Nobody tunes in for the 7th best SEC team to maybe upset a good ACC school. You tune in for UMBC over Virginia. You tune in for St. Peter's over Kentucky. You tune in for Florida Gulf Coast soaring through brackets. You tune in for George Mason making a Final Four. You don't tune in to watch Duke play UConn. You tune in for the chaos. The reality of the situation is the expansion is probably inevitable. College sports has made one thing abundantly clear. If there's money on the table, somebody's already reaching for it. And as Kelvin Sampson noted in this article, they ain't going back. So the question isn't whether expansion happens. The question is whether the NCAA can preserve what made the tournament magical in the first place. My other thoughts on this are, if they were expanding this tournament to get the likes of another Mountain West school in, to get the likes of UC Irvine in, who had the metrics good enough to make the NCAA tournament, but then lost in their conference tournament, because that is a joke in general. If it was for more of the mid-majors to make the NCAA tournament who deserve to be there, and not putting in mid-level SEC schools or mid-level Big 12 schools or ACC or Big 10 schools, then I'd be all for it. Sure, why not? Expand the tournament. Get some of these mid-majors some more opportunities to grow, but it's not about that. A couple of years ago, and I say this multiple times, a couple of years ago, my school, TCU, was a bubble team that didn't make the NCAA tournament. In this new format, they would have made it. This is directly benefiting my school. That season, when I watched TCU basketball, I thought it was incredibly frustrating to watch them, and they had no business playing the NCAA tournament. That is the level team that you would see in the NCAA tournament. We don't need more of those teams. I would much rather watch UC Irvine or UC Santa Barbara or UCSD in the NCAA tournament than watching Oklahoma State, who just kind of like labored their way through conference play after having an undefeated non-conference because they didn't play anybody worth a damn, make the NCAA tournament. Everything in college sports is about TV ratings. It's not about the sport. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll understand why these decisions are being made. They don't make the decisions at the college level for how do we determine who the best team is. They make the decisions on how can we get the biggest schools with the biggest fan bases and alumni bases that are going to drive television ratings. How do we get them furthest along as humanly possible? Because that's how we make money. I think Frank mentioned it well before the show started. And you know what Frank said? If I was in Congress or the government, I would immediately put in legislation to make sure that TV companies can only write checks for media rights and can't actively involve themselves in determining who plays and when they play. I think that's true. I think TV companies are wrecking a lot of this. I think the leadership is getting greedy and wrecking a lot of this, and they are destroying what has made them special and worth watching in the first place. I hate everything about this. And not only do I hate everything about this, most fans hate everything about this. All the coaches hate everything about this. There's probably, as Chris Ella mentioned yesterday on Gwen and Chris, there's probably 12 people that like this idea, and they're all presidents of universities, of schools that really have no business making the NCAA tournament. College athletics is sprinting towards the cliff of becoming completely irrelevant because people are going to stop tuning in to the BS that they have to watch on a daily basis, and they're going to start losing more fans. It might not be overnight, but it's going to continue to happen, and they're too greedy to realize what they're doing. It's a shame because I love college sports. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he played baseball in college, and one of his teammates is a D1 school, is a head coach at a D1 school, and he talked about what he had. He's at a mid-major D1 school for baseball. He's a head coach there. And he talks about the transfer portal, and he talks about NIL and all that other stuff. And he says in order to keep his job, he has to make relatively the conference tournament. Like if they win winning the conference satisfies the school, which is fine. He said in order to do that, based on where he's at, he doesn't recruit high school kids anymore. It's a waste of his time. Think about that for a second. He is a head coach at a Division I mid-major university, and he does not recruit high school kids anymore. It's a waste of his time. He says the parents of high school kids are such a pain because of what they expect. And that's also part of the problem. I think parents of high school kids and college kids really need to take a step back on what the reality is of their children. I really do. We went through those statistics. Stop listening to people that just want to tell you what you want to hear, thinking your kid's going pro. You could quickly see if your kid's going pro or not. What are the percentages again? It's like 2%, maybe. Any of your kids end up going pro where you make significant money? But let me go back to what this coach was saying. So he goes out and gets a bunch of hired guns in junior college ball. It's a bunch of 22-year-olds that are rejects from the power schools because it didn't work out. He gets a bunch of guys that are pissed off, and he goes out there and tries to win with that. And this is what he said, Frank. You want to hear what he said about it? He said, none of these kids give a bleep about each other. They don't interact with each other. They're not friends. He's like, the days of us like having longtime friendships with our teammates, he's like, that's over at the college level. These guys do not care. Everybody's a hired gun. They don't care about the school they play for. They don't care about the players on their team. I think this is probably more prominent in the sports that have more NIL than anything else. I'm not saying it's every sport. I'm sure the teams that where kids are still going to school for 4 years without transferring, that aren't massive revenue generators, I'm sure they have fun relationships with their teammates. I'm sure they're enjoying themselves in college. But when you start looking at the top level teams, those are gone. And you know where it's trickling down to? High school and club sports. I mean, club sports are crazy, dude. I try to warn people all the time. A lot of club coaches, not all, a lot of club coaches you have to understand are going to tell you whatever you want to hear so you play for them so they make money. It's the simple terms. They don't get paid unless you play. And if you don't play, they don't get paid. So, yeah, they're going to tell you everything you want to hear so you play for them throughout the entire season. We have created sports to be all a business and no longer about fun for kids. And you know what you're doing in the long term? You're making kids burn out of these sports, and then guess what they don't do in the future? They don't watch the sports. You turn off a lot of fans. The club sports stuff is ridiculous. I mean, it really is. Talk to D1 schools. Talk to D1 coaches. Ask them if their kids play club sports. A lot of them go like, probably not. Probably not. I mean, everything's just it's like college athletics right now is like travel ball. It's just glorified travel ball. Guys are bouncing all over the place, looking for the best deal. No camaraderie, no community. That's what sports is supposed to teach you. It doesn't teach you that anymore. It's just sad, Frank. It's just sad. It's going to continue that way until you put in any type of rules, but I think we're well past that. And as somebody that wants kids in the future, I don't know how a lot of you parents deal with the youth sports right now because it seems absolutely crazy. I hear stories. I see it as a high school coach with some of the promises that are made. And then you look, as I work in college athletics, and I see what's going on behind the scenes and go like, oh yeah, Johnny ain't ever playing college sports. I can tell you that right now, based on like, oh, sorry, sir, are you 5'6"? Yeah, probably not. It's probably not going to happen. It's amazing what happens at the club and youth sport level. And we've had parents email us about it. Remember that mom the other day that emailed that she got, swindled with the D1 recruiting and all that stuff. I mean, they just tell you what you want to hear to get what they need. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I think it's bad for college basketball if they're expanding the tournament. I don't think anybody really wants to deal with that. Doesn't seem like it's good. When we come back, what are the biggest trends in Major League Baseball through the month of April? It's our final recap of April from an MLB standpoint. We'll get to it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Summer Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. 12:25 on a Friday. Getting ready for Padres and White Sox coming up later on this afternoon, this evening, if you will. Gwen and Chris will be on the show next. They'll be having their show next, and then we will get to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show coming up at 5:40. First pitch against the White Sox, 6:40. Still time to cheer on the Padres at Petco Park, America's #1 ballpark, on Thursday, May 7th at 7:10 when the Padres host the St. Louis Cardinals. First 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a flame-throwing Mason Miller bobblehead presented by Cox. Whether he's shutting down batters or throwing an immaculate inning, Miller always brings the heat with his fastballs. Don't wait to secure your tickets. Visit Padres.com/tickets. We'll be giving away tickets to that game in the 1 o'clock hour. We will be trying to give away tickets, or at least an opportunity to win tickets to Memorial Day as the Padres take on the Phillies. Some field level seats if you could take me down to sports trivia in the next segment. But we do want to get to some wider views at Major League Baseball's trends after 1 month. We'll do this in kind of two parts. MLB.com pulled 20 front office executives anonymously to get some of the trends, and we'll hear what they had to say, but also we will give our own takes on some of these big trending topics after April has been concluded. All right, fire up the music. Let's talk some MLB baseball.
All righty. So, Braden, as you said, we've got our first big poll of 2026. 20 front office executives were anonymously polled to answer these questions. 10 of the 20 executives name the okay, we'll go through this. We'll moving through. Biggest surprise team this year. Who would you say first is the biggest surprise team?
The biggest surprise team this season?
Off of your own noggin.
Answer my own noggin. Who has surprised me the most? Like from a positive standpoint?
Yes, positive standpoint.
Positive standpoint. I honestly, it's got to be somebody that I didn't think was going to be very good. I would say the Twins have been kind of good. Like I didn't think the Twins were going to be very good to start the year. That's probably a positive one for you as I look at the standings. I mean, I thought they were going to come in dead last and not be very good, and they're right there, ready to go. So. I think the Minnesota Twins are probably my biggest surprise. Because the other thing, too, is we weren't surprised about the Pirates, right? That wasn't surprising to us. The Marlins being around 500 right now, they're not surprising to us.
Not at all.
I didn't consider the A's surprising. Maybe the Reds a little bit with how hot of a start they've gotten off to.
The Cardinals are 5 games over 500 right now.
You know what? The Cardinals are probably the most surprising because they didn't even look like they were trying to win during the offseason.
No, and they're 5 games over.
I'd probably go with the Cardinals. I changed my pick because the Twins have kind of regressed a little bit too. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I didn't think they'd be with a winning record after the first month.
The biggest vote getter were the Pirates at 4 votes. The Reds were number 2 with 3. Twins had 3 votes.
By the way,
as well.
It's funny because the Pirates are in last now. You know what the record is in last place?
I think they're over 500 though.
They're not. They just lost. They've lost 5 straight games. They're 16-16.
Well, there you go. The Bravos got 2 votes. The A's got 1 vote. The Cardinals only got 1 vote. Diamondbacks, Guardians, Marlins, Nationals, and the Padres all got 1 vote.
That's for disappointing?
For most surprise. Biggest surprise.
A lot of those we picked. I don't think you could ever be surprised at the Guardians anymore. Or the Brewers, right?
Nope.
They're just always good. I don't think a lot of people should be that shocked about the Padres and Diamondbacks. I guess the Nationals being in 3rd place, but they might just be benefiting from the fact that the Phillies and the Mets are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably still go with the Cardinals. I am surprised the Cardinals have won as many games as they have.
Speaking of the New York Metropolitans, who would you say has been the biggest disappointment this year? Braden?
Phillies. I don't think anybody's talking about the Phillies enough. Like the Mets, let's talk about the Mets for a second. The Mets lost Pete Alonso. They kind of made some fringe moves. They've had injuries in the past. I mean, the rotation's okay. It's not great. They lost Edwin Diaz out of the bullpen. Like, going into the year, was this Mets team going to be better on paper than last year's Mets team?
With who they got to replace them, that's what they were sold. You get Marcus Semien.
Yeah,
you bring
aging Marcus Semien.
You bring in Jorge Polanco, who's always hurt, and wouldn't you know it, is hurt. You bring in Luis Robert Jr., who is always hurt, and son of a gun,
he's hurt.
He's hurt again. Kodai Senga has been awful. He has thrown 20 innings this season. He's allowed 20 earned runs. Kodai Senga has been dreadful this season. And today, because of their dreadfulness, Anthony DiComo reports that Steve Cohen has given both Carlos Mendoza and David Stearns the all good. They ain't getting fired anytime
It's all good.
soon.
I think the Phillies are the most disappointing. Like, the Red Sox, I thought the Red Sox would be a lot better, but they still were a circus last year and trading Devers and everything like that. And they were a lot of like taking chances. I thought the rotation was going to be better, but I don't think anybody's been more disappointed than the Phillies. Phillies are bringing back a lot of the same players they had last year. They signed Kyle Schwarber again. They re-signed him. They got a same core group of guys that made it to a World Series not too long ago. The Phillies being 12-19 and looking awful solidifies that they've, to me, have been the most disappointing. The only reason why they're not talked about is because the Mets are on a historic pace of being bad right now.
They're 2 games worse than the 62 Mets.
Correct.
As they sit right now. And they have the worst record of baseball since last August. The Mets got 10 votes, over half the panel. Red Sox got 3. Phillies got 2. Blue Jays and Mariners also got votes on that.
I mean, the Blue Jays have been a little disappointing.
They have been, for sure.
I mean, aren't they? They're 14-17. I'd say the Mariners have been disappointing, but they've won 2 in a row now, and they're starting to figure it out.
The question on this was, are the Mets cooked?
I think the Mets are cooked.
Yeah. As New York radio was saying yesterday, we're getting dangerously close to not talking about them anymore, which is the worst thing that can happen, is to just become completely irrelevant. Biggest surprise player, this will be the last one before we hit the break. Who do you think has been the biggest surprise player, come out of nowhere player this year?
I think it's Jose Soriano.
Yeah.
The pitcher for the Angels, to be honest with you. I mean, I know a lot of people are voting, like Jordan Walker, and I know Sal Stewart got some votes too. I think Jose Soriano's been great. I mean, he's like the only time the Angels win is when he pitches. I would go with Jose Soriano. And everybody in the Angels is supposed to be bad. Like, he's like the only reason why they were off to a decent start. Now they're just awful, but he would, to me, would be the biggest surprise player.
He has been very, very good. I saw him pitch that Friday game against the Padres. He was electric. He had very good stuff. Jordan Walker got the most votes at 6 out of this group.
He's got a 1.7 B-WAR in 26 games, 8 home runs, 926 OPS, elite exit velocity, barrel hard hit, bat speed. Oh, we don't like talking about that though.
Top 5 prospect, finally getting it.
That's right.
Sal Stewart got 5. Soriano got 4. Liam Hicks for the Marlins got a couple of votes.
Pretty good.
Munetaka Murakami, we'll see him starting tonight. Andy Pajes off to a hot start. He's gotten a lot of love as well. Mike Trout as well has gotten a decent amount of love from this. Is Jordan Walker the real deal this time?
Wasn't this every year with him? He gets off to like a hot start.
No, actually, last year he was.
I thought every year he gets like a decent stretch where he's like good, and then it's like he never puts it together for a full 162.
No, last year he was just pitiful all the way around.
Until Jordan Walker puts a full season together, I can't say it's legitimate yet. Biggest disappointment though. Kind of interesting for some to be part of the winning of the trade deadline last year, that you might be the biggest disappointment. We'll talk about it when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's Urban Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. We need a contestant for a midday sports standoff. If you call in right now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you could take me down in trivia, you would be qualified for a chance to win this month's grand prize, a pair of field level seats to Padres and Phillies on Memorial Day. This is the last day to qualify. Last chance to get yourself in the hopper to win tickets to Phillies, Padres, their field level seats. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Take me down in trivia. You will have a chance to qualify. We haven't had too many qualifiers, I think, this month. We had a couple of days where we couldn't do the game, so you got a really good chance at winning the tickets if you take me down in trivia today. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. All right. While we wait for a phone call, let us, and tomato, get to, you like that?
He draws the foul.
Shout out to my Spanish teacher in high school, Chris Theobald. Mr. Theobald. One of the best teachers I've ever had. One of the coolest teachers I ever had. He was a guy from New York that taught Spanish. He's a big surfer. He went down and surfed, and he'd go down to like South America and surf and stuff like that. One of the best classes I ever had at Cathedral. He was like one of the coolest teachers ever. He used to do the funniest stuff like that. He used to do lettuce and tomato. And then the other thing he used to do all the time too, he'd do like the Red Hot Chili Pepper song.
Mm-hmm.
But he would be like, we had like a daily planner thing we had to do, like to do the daily translation assignment, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, every day, he'd be like, put it away, put it away, put it away now. It's killed me every time. But the best part about Mr. Theobald, he was notorious. Mr. Theobald was notorious for the first day of class just being a total hard ass. Like the first day, like when you're going through all your classes, and the first day you were going through like, you're like, here's what we're going to do. Here's syllabus week stuff. Like, get your syllabus signed. This is what we're going to do this year. Sorry, you're getting graded, all that other BS.
I hated the first day of school for that.
It's just like, you're just
No, I
going through
know.
the motions.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know
It's
what?
just checking
It's not
boxes.
bad though. Like it's not, you want to ease into the learning. You don't want to just get stuck going hardcore first day of class.
Right, but you also don't need like a normal schedule for that. You could do like half-hour classes for all that stuff.
Oh, we
used to do
half days.
Yeah, you don't need like the full hour to like, come on, dude.
We had half days for that. It was great. And it would like be it would start at the end of the week. So, and it was still like summertime because you would start school in August.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, it was still like being on summer break. It was like an ease into the week. But Mr. Theobald on the first day, everybody would like tell a story. He would just be such a bleep, like the whole time, just like Mr. Discipline the whole time. Next day, coolest guy ever. He was like the coolest guy ever for the rest of the year. That was just his bit. First day, every single time. He's not at Cathedral anymore. I don't know where he ended up going. But shout out to Chris Theobald, my Spanish teacher, for lettuce and tomato. I still do that. I do that. I do put it away, put it away, put it away now.
And you'll be getting a foul every time.
He used to do, you know what he used to say too? Like he would, he's like, if you do XYZ, I'll throw you out that window. You'll have birds circling. And then they'd just be like, come here. I would do it every time. Come here.
Oh, God.
My sophomore year, I had some cool teachers at Cathedral. I had him. I had, Mr. Owen was like just hilarious. He was like 26 when he was my world history teacher. His best thing he would do, he's not a teacher there anymore. I think they all end up going to Torrey Pines. But Mr. Owen is great too. He's like the swim coach, but he would teach world history, and he would be like, all right, guys, we're going to watch a documentary today. He'd do the air quotes too. Like, today we're going to watch a documentary. So when your parents ask what you learned in world history class, you're going to say, you watched and everybody in class together documentary. And then he put Saving Private Ryan on.
Oh,
or he put on like another movie. Yeah. World history,
dear.
right? Like, it was world history stuff. He wanted to use like actual like good movies like to do the world history, not some boring History Channel thing. So he was like, okay, you guys watch a documentary. Loved it.
That's a hard watch.
It was about World War II. Okay.
I know, but
he prefaced with like saying like, look, opening scene is kind of rough.
Yeah,
if you're not going to like it, like, we'll tell you when it's over and you could like come back in.
This is a gory documentary. If you're not,
we're going to watch a documentary.
I watched Hacksaw Ridge last night for the first time. That was pretty intense too.
About that. Shout out to Jeff Owen and Chris Theobald, wherever you may be. You know what? Maybe they're teaching classes somewhere and listening to my show. That'd be great. We'd appreciate that. Stop yelling at the Cathedral kids for watching our show in class. Kids, stop watching the show in class.
Every teacher and every kid for that matter.
Not gonna happen. Let's get to the midday sports standoff. We have a good one today.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he missed no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
And just to clarify, somebody in the YouTube chat was like, since it's Spanish class, are the birds saying come here or comer? They're saying comer, food.
Oh, God.
All right. Who's our contestant today?
We got Chris in Pacific Beach.
Chris and PB. What's going on, man?
What up, Braden? Shout out Mike Crum.
Hell yeah.
What's up, buddy?
All right. So today we're out of the sports topics today. We're going to try to do this a little bit more fun. Every Friday, we're going to have more of a fun topic instead of a sports topic. So by revenue, who are the most profitable fast food chains in 2024, as we don't have the 2025 data yet? So who were the most profitable fast food chains? Now, this goes for everything. Fast food, pizza restaurants, coffee places, donut shop.
Man.
It does. It covers
that's gonna be hard.
It covers the gambit. So, Chris,
Most
you
profitable.
have the first guess. Yes, the ones who made the most profit.
Oh, man. All right, well, let's start off with McDonald's.
McDonald's was number one. They made $54.5 billion.
$1 billion. So this is like just the United States?
Yes.
I want to say Starbucks.
Starbucks is number 2. They made $31.5 billion. Just a small drop off. Chris?
Go Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is number 3, $22.7 billion.
Just because they have a lot of them, I would say Subway. Wow.
Subway was number 9 at $9.5 billion.
Go Taco Bell.
Number 4, $16.2 billion.
Taco Bell is definitely on my list. All right, got to think of like national chains that pop up a little bit more. Is it everything? I really want to say Dunkin' Donuts. Wow.
Number 6 at $12.5 billion. Again, fast food restaurants that were top 10 fast food restaurants by profit in 2024.
McDonald's had the most
by revenue.
At what?
$54.5 billion. Chris?
In-N-Out?
It's not enough. There's not enough of them.
No, not In-N-Out. First strike, Chris.
Not enough of them. Okay.
We're missing number 5,
7,
6,
8.
5, 7, 8, and 10.
I'm trying to think of national chain. What about like Carl's Jr. / Hardee's? Aren't they the same?
Not there. Not on the list. Chris?
Wendy's?
That's got to be on there.
Wendy's is number 5 at $12.6 billion. Just beat out Dunkin' Donuts.
Wow. Okay. You said it'd be like a bunch of different stuff. What about like Chipotle or something?
Chipotle is number 7, $11.3 billion. So we're missing number 8 and number 10.
Wendy's was 5.
Wendy's was 5.
Raising Cane's.
I don't think there's enough of them.
No, that's a good guess, but
Good
no.
guess, though. I don't think there's enough of them. How many strikes do I have?
You have 1.
I have 1 left, or
No, you have 1.
How many does he have?
He has 2.
feel like there's not enough of them, but I was going to go with Sonic.
Nope.
More cherry limeades for me.
Chris?
Let's go with Burger King.
Burger King is number 8 on the list. So, Chris, congratulations. You've guaranteed yourself at least a tie, so you're going to be qualified. Braden?
It's got to be something obscure, too. Oh, you know what I haven't thought of? Are pizza chains on this?
Might be.
Oh, it's the most popular pizza chain. Well, the only one I like is Domino's if I had to go chain. I'm going to go with Domino's. Let's go.
Domino's was number 10 on the list at $9.5 billion. So, Chris, hang on the line. That was a fun one. That really was. That was a fun one today. So the top fast food restaurants by revenue in 2024, McDonald's, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Dunkin' Donuts, Chipotle, Burger King, Subway, and Domino's.
I would consider... Do you consider those all fast food places in your definition of fast food?
I personally would not consider those all fast food. Like Starbucks, I wouldn't have thought of as a fast food. That's why I said it at the very beginning. But when I typed up top 10 fast food chains, Starbucks was always there.
I think 5 of those I would consider fast food. I also think there's something called fast casual.
Okay.
The problem is, it's like, first of all, any coffee shops are out automatically.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Breakfast places out automatically, in my opinion. And then I go, if you don't have a drive-through, you're also out.
Starbucks has drive-thrus, though.
But I said coffee first.
Right. No, I agree.
The other thing I would say is, I don't think delis are considered, I don't consider them fast food either. So like Subway, there are Subway drive-thrus.
Yes.
But I would say out
really?
of that. There are. They used to have one in Ramona.
Huh.
I don't think they have it in Ramona anymore. Where's all my Ramona people? They don't have the Subway. I used to, because here's the thing, like coaching high school football for a while, Ramona would do like a JV tournament, and I'd go up there every summer. I'd always just pick up Subway on the way up there. Or we used to have to scrimmage up there all the time. So I'd pick up Subway in the drive-thru. I'd drive through the drive-thru.
By the way, happy Trevor Hoffman Day.
Happy Trevor Hoffman
today.
Day.
And we're going to miss it. So happy Clay Hensley Day tomorrow.
Wow.
And happy Eric Stoltz Day.
Wow.
On Sunday.
Out of that group of the fast food restaurants, I would consider McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, Wendy's, and Burger King fast food joints.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree.
Congrats to Chris and PB. Letters to AJ wrote an interesting article today on his Substack about the Padres tipping pitches. We'll tell you what he explained when we come back, whether or not it's a glaring issue. Braden Surprenant Show, final hour. Standing Summit Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. I think Frank's got a assignment for our boy Trav Gundy in the YouTube chat. He's not watching right now because he's busy. But this leads to why he's able to help us out. Frank, we have a problem. In I wouldn't say it's not. We have a problem in Texas, mostly in the Denton area. Well, I mean, they mentioned Fort Worth. They ain't anywhere near Fort Worth. As somebody has driven past that speedway and knows where it's at, I would not really consider that Fort Worth. But you know what?
Have
you been to Texas Motor Speedway?
No.
Yeah, it is in the middle of nowhere. But you know what they have? They have a Buc-ee's next door. Trav should pick us some stuff up from Buc-ee's.
Yes, 100%.
Hundo DM him on Instagram.
Hundo P on the Buc-ee's merch.
Buc-ee's merch, all about it. My guy Brian, who's at Stagecoach with me, he had a Buc-ee's t-shirt on the final day. It's amazing. Good stuff. All right. What's the problem at Texas Motor Speedway right now?
They're trying to do practice.
They're in a delay?
Stuff. Yeah, they're trying to do practice and stuff for the Cup race on Sunday.
And they have
there is a
weather or something like that? Is a storm roll through? Or
nope. Well, that's actually already come and gone. There is an squirrel off the track on the front stretch, and it refuses to leave. It has found itself a home under an AMR safety vehicle, which has gone out to try to remove said squirrel, and it is not getting out from under the safety truck.
It doesn't want to go.
Yeah, no. And squirrel is there for the race, and he is going to see some dadgum cars going around in circles.
The animal's holding it up. Nope, no more racing.
So, well, which is unfortunate too, because it's a waxing crescent moon this weekend, so the track is going to be gripped up this weekend. Extra grip.
Excuse me?
It is a commonly held belief / joke in the racing community.
Is it like winning TVs for the spring training?
No,
it's not like that.
No, that during a waxing crescent moon phase, the asphalt in a racetrack has a little bit more grip than during any other full moon phase. and it is a waxing crescent moon phase this weekend. So the track has a little bit of extra grip to it this weekend.
Nerd. Play it.
Nerd!
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Are you kidding me? I don't believe anything you just said. It could be true. I don't know. I don't believe anything you just said.
It was on the...
As Ron Burgundy says, I don't believe you.
It was on the Door Bumper Clear podcast from earlier this week.
Excuse me?
Yes.
The what now?
Door Bumper Clear.
Door Bumper Clear podcast.
Yes.
There's a podcast for everything, isn't there?
Well, it's a racing podcast put on by Dirty Mo Media, which is the same company that does the Dale Jr. Download, his podcast. So, yeah, they had a couple drivers on. They were talking about it, and that was one of the things that came up.
All right. Learn something new every day. How about it? I do want to get into this Padres thing in a second. Did you see this? We didn't really talk about it. Go Aztecs brings it up in the Twitch chat. Did you see the Reds give away pizza for correct ABS challenges?
That cannot be good pizza.
They should give away Skyline Chili. They got tons of that.
That would make more sense now, wouldn't it?
Let me see this. Reds ABS giveaway. Pizza? They give away pizza. How does that work?
I would have to assume it's like a it's like what the Padres do with Jack in the Box.
Okay, ABS. Oh, okay. An ABS challenge led them to give away the pizza. So the Reds have a long-standing partnership with local pizza chain La Rosa's. If Cincinnati pitchers put together 11 strikeouts in a home game, fans in attendance can use their ticket to redeem a free pizza within the next week. That's like the Petco K9 or the Jumbo Jack on the home run for a Padre kind of deal. Okay, so it's been several years this promotion, and the Redlegs clinched the complimentary pies on Tuesday night in a different way. So in the top of the ninth inning of a 7-2 game against the Rockies earlier this week, the Reds had 10 strikeouts already on the board, and left-hander Brock Burke worked ahead of Eduardo Julian 1-2. He delivered a 97.9 mile an hour fastball that came close to the outside corner, but was deemed a ball by home plate umpire Carlos Torres. Catcher Tyler Stevenson had none of that. Even in a 5-run game, he was going to get that pizza for the Reds faithful.
It's like Boban years ago with the Clippers fans breaking a free throw on purpose.
Stevenson immediately tapped his helmet to initiate the ABS challenge. The pitch officially nabbed the outside corner by 1.1 inches, and the crowd loved it. It was easily one of the loudest cheers of the night, right alongside a homer and stellar defense from Ellie De La Cruz. Quote, I guess that was the kind of perfect storm to get the pizza, Steven said afterwards. Yeah, it was eventful and probably one of the better Tuesday crowds I've seen, so it was really fun tonight. Burke would have gotten pizzas for the fans anyway. He struck out Hunter Goodman on a heater in the game's final out 2 batters later, but the ABS system has certainly been a hit within stadium crowds. But again, 2026, it got the Reds fans pizza. I'm okay with that. I've been to Great American Ballpark. I didn't mind it. You been to Great American Ballpark?
No.
The Great American Bandbox? It was not bad. I was there they had like $1 beer, $2 sundae, or $1 hot dogs, $2 sundaes, and $3 beer night or something like that. It was like the 1, 2, 3 night or something for the Reds. Which was super cool. So yeah, they had the Budweiser 3-2-1 Tuesdays. I was there on a Tuesday. So these guys got 3-2-1 Tuesdays and they got pizza on the same day. What a great Tuesday at the ball yard. So they have the Reds have Budweiser 3-2-1 Tuesdays. They have $3 12-ounce beers. They have $2 sundae or $2 hot dogs, and they have $1 ice cream cups. That's pretty money. The beer, though, is Bud Light, Busch Light, Kona Big Wave, or Budweiser. I wanted to try the Skyline Chili when I was there, but I didn't. I felt like I needed to give Skyline Chili a fair share. Like if I'm going to Cincinnati and I have to try Skyline Chili, do you feel like you're giving it a good representation by going to the ballpark?
No.
I don't think so either. I mean, it's great that it's at the ballpark, but at the same time, it's like, are you going to get the full effect? Like, can you successfully rate Hodad's as a burger joint based on the Hodad's burger at Petco Park?
No.
I don't think that's fair.
No, and that's really the only place I've ever had Hodad's, and I know that's probably not the best place to get it. More expensive too.
Yeah, board and brew and stuff. It's nice for like the fans that go every single day. I love the food at the ballpark.
Oh yeah, it's good.
It's amazing that they get to do that. Plus, Chef Phil gets to create some incredible things. Chef Phil does a great job over there at Petco Park.
Yes.
We had that thing last year where he cooked for us and showed off a lot of the new stuff. It was great. I know he helped out with the biggest fan suite too, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that's got to be fun to be the chef of a ballpark where you get to like create and play with different menu items during the off season to create select stadium food and like make it like gourmet and stuff. It's awesome.
That's got to be one of the more creative sports jobs out there, is to be a chef, a ballpark chef, especially now with all of this, with social media taking off and everything, and everyone like it's becoming one of the key milestones of the off season is watching teams put their new menus out.
Oh yeah, they have a whole spectacle about
it.
Yeah. The thing I like about the Padres food, it's like it's all like gourmet stuff, but it's not like this gigantic, insane portion like you see at like all these other ballparks. Some of these places just go too far on some of the stuff with like the cotton candy and like the sugar, and it's just way too much. This is a good matchup of ballpark food though. The White Sox have some pretty good ballpark food, I was told.
Okay.
I haven't been there. My family did. I went to Wrigley and then I left. I had to get back to work here a couple of years ago. But they went to the White Sox game and they said the food there was great.
Let me see on the MLB website. See if there's
if they have like a page of the food.
Yeah.
Now I'm hungry. This is great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What am I going to eat today? What am I going to eat today at the ballpark? I'm going to the game tonight.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
I should pick up some tacos. They got a Buc-ee's going up in Phoenix. According to the YouTube chat, that's pretty awesome.
Is it going to be up by the end of October?
By the way, I'm driving to Coachella Valley. Just got into the desert. There was a Buc-ee's sign. You know what it said? Coming up in the next 1,304 miles. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Let's go.
Next exit, I'm going to go. I'll be going to the game tonight. I'll not go to the weekend softball tournament of the weekend, everything like that. All right, we need to take a quick break while Frank's looking up the food. But when we come back, something that letters to AJ and his the author of the letters to AJ Substack noticed this week about the Padres and the Cubs that involves the bullpen. Whether or not it's a glaring issue, we'll discuss when we return on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. 117 on a Friday. We have tickets to give away. I'll be asking a trivia question here as we go to break to win tickets to Padres and Cardinals next Thursday. Padres Cardinals, May 7th. First 40,000 fans will receive a free Mason Miller bobblehead. Tickets at Padres.com/tickets. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We're broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. No guests today, but they usually join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. All right. You got that menu?
I does, yes.
All right. What do we got here?
All right. So the 35th Street muffaletta, I believe is what it is.
It'd be a muffaletta.
Yeah. It is a dried curry, dried cured salami, mortadella, prosciutto.
This is the White Sox menu.
Yes. Provolone, house, gardenia, sure, whatever. Olive spread on sun-dried tomato focaccia.
I love focaccia.
All-Star Chicago lineup. It is a sampler-sized platter of Vienna Chicago-style hot dog, charred kielbasa with caramelized onion and mustard.
Wow.
Buona Italian beef with sweet peppers and the same thing again. And Garrett Stadium buttery popcorn.
This is what I'm talking about. Like the craziness of the menus here. This is like why Chef Phil here in San Diego has such a cool job. You get to create all these crazy things. Like White Sox have the Arepa burger, corn griddle cakes with honey glazed pork belly, sofrito, coleslaw, garlic aioli, and aji sauce. I probably mispronounced a lot of stuff. I wouldn't trust any of the taco stuff there, so we're going to skip that.
I'm dyslexic, and I'm reading something for the first time. Get off my back.
The thing that sparked me about this with the food for the White Sox is the all-food matchup between the Padres and the White Sox. They have some of the best food in Major League Baseball. Was the campfire milkshake they had last year. It was a s'more shake. It was so good last year that they made a new edition of it for this year. They got chicken and waffles. They got crispy chicken wings and fries. They got they have a machete. You know what their machete is?
It's a giant quesadilla.
Yeah, it's a giant quesadilla made with chicken, chorizo, queso, and orange salsa. They have a veggie option also for those that want to have a machete-sized quesadilla. Rainbow bubble waffle, vanilla ice cream, gummy pears, nerd clusters, and sprinkles. See, that's the stuff that I'm telling you. Like, that's too much. That's ridiculous. What else they got here? The Southside Supreme. Beggar's Home Plate shaped pizza topped with sausage, buona Italian beef, peppers, onions, and
thank you.
Giardiniera? What is that? I don't even know what that is. They got a what is that? A tonkatsu dog?
Tonkatsu dog.
Tonkatsu dog. Vienna beef hot dog, panko, the Kewpie mayo, teriyaki sauce, and bonito flakes. Wow. I'm telling you, the food items that these ballparks are just getting more and more elaborate. Your specialty drink menu is not as cool. But anyway, it's the all-food item for the all-food series between the Padres and the White Sox. I'd still take the Padres food over the White Sox food.
Agreed.
Fallon Augie for another dad joke.
Oh, no. What did he say this time?
What's a quesadilla called when you eat it at night? A queso noche.
Oh, God.
Terrible.
Brother.
Ramen flavored casings on that dog, by the way. What is your thoughts on ramen flavored casings? That's a pretty tough dog.
He draws the foul.
Augie takes a bow. All right, letters to AJ had something more serious that we could talk about here. And he had an interesting breakdown that came out today about the situation at hand with the Cubs this week. And he noticed something in Wandy Peralta's outing. So he did all the research. If you want to go check it out, letters to AJ Substack online. And he's got all the video evidence, too, as it goes through. So what he noticed, and he mentions this at the beginning. He mentions that probably still nothing, but he mentions that it's something to monitor. And I think it's also, I think that's worth noting with the Padres pitching staff because they've had a couple of these already happen this year, had a couple of these things happen last year. So the core incident that Letters to AJ, a.k.a. Dylan Jacobs on his website, analyzed was Tuesday's Padres game against the Cubs, in which they lost 4-3. In the seventh inning, with the Cubs leading 4-3, when they were down 4-3. In the seventh inning, when the Cubs were leading 4-3, Wandy Peralta relieved David Morgan after a leadoff walk to Seiya Suzuki. Ian Happ grounds out and got Suzuki to second. Peralta then hit Michael Busch with a 96-mile-an-hour sinker, and runners are on first and second now for Carson Kelly. Carson Kelly sees 6 of 7 pitches as changeups. Unusual sequencing, according to Dylan. And he smashes a 102-mile-an-hour grounder, which was robbed by Xander Bogaerts. Alex Bregman then pinch hits, gets a soft single off another changeup, scores Suzuki. Pete Crow Armstrong then crushes a middle changeup for a 3-run homer after fouling off a well-located one. Dylan calls a middle changeup possibly the single worst pitch in baseball and what coaches throw in BP. Well, he's not wrong there. Now, this is the tell that Letters to AJ noticed. You ready for this, Frank? He calls it the bunny hop tell. Now, if you go on to the Substack, which is letters2aj.substack.com, you will see probably still nothing as the article. Again, Letters to AJ's Dylan Jacobs. So he goes on and he notices this bunny hop trend. So while Suzuki was on second base, he visibly does like this bunny hop on his lead right before every Peralta changeup, but he doesn't do it before fastballs. First changeup to Kelly is the cue Suzuki sees from second base. Kelly, after reaching, who's now on second after Suzuki scores, then repeats said bunny hop as a lead before the final changeup thrown to Pete Crow Armstrong, and then checks the scoreboard to confirm the pitch type. So he watches, he bunny hops on a changeup, he looks back to where they post where the pitch is, and notices it says changeup to give him the confirmation. Now, on the contrast side of things, Suzuki showed no hops the prior inning with a different pitcher, which was Kyle Hart. Kelly showed no hops earlier in the series or previous week in Philly. In terms of like, does he just do this naturally? Another situation with the bunny hop, or as Dylan Jacobs points out, it is a innocuous looking movement visible in the peripheral vision to a hitter, which is easily passed off as staying loose, right? So if you think about it, Frank, when you're on second base, an easy tell is kind of like hopping, because as you're up there at the plate, you can see that in the corner of your eye.
Yeah, you don't think of it.
Like, why is he doing that? And you see these guys do this all the time. So he finds that to be interesting. Now, take a look at the simple, why Wandy Peralta might be a prime target for relaying and tipping pitches. Simple pitch mix. He mostly throws a sinker and a changeup. Changeup grip is easy to tip. Why is a changeup grip easy to tip, Frank?
I do not know.
Because in order to grab a changeup, you have to grab the entire ball, which means your glove has to open more to grab the changeup grip, right?
Yeah.
That's why a lot of guys hold the ball with the changeup grip, so when they go in, they can keep the glove flared the whole time, and then they could change to something else, correct? So when he's only throwing sinkers and changeup and his glove is flaring, you can see it a little bit better. Changeup grip is easy to tip. Entire hand engulfs the ball, obviously. Glove offense flares outward, like we mentioned. Extra fidget time versus fastball. There you go. Now, Peralta does have a history with tipping his pitches. Remember last year in New York, Frank? We kept talking about that outing he had. Austin Wells sat dead red on a changeup. And why it's significant for Wandy Peralta, his stuff has declined slightly since his Yankees peak when he was pitching for the Yankees. He has less horizontal break on his changeup sinker, less drop on slider per TJ Stats graphics, according to this article, and success has relied on deception, not raw stuff. So if you're tipping pitches and they know what's coming, but you got great stuff, they still have to hit it. But when your entire arsenal is on deception and kind of like keeping guys off balance, this could really do a lot of damage against Wandy Peralta. Padres organization context, like they've had a couple of pitch tipping issues. Robert Suarez last year with the glove flare on the changeup grip that was caught by Roman Anthony on the second. Tablet images shown during the mound visit. Patrick Bailey relayed Nick Pavetta's grip mid at bat. Armand Marquez admitted to tipping early in 2026 and worked with Ruben Nieva on a fix via video. And Dylan Jacobs, the author of Letters to AJ, notes that Padres emphasize anti-tipping work when aware of problems. Obviously, there's a lot of these that always happen, but it's very interesting to see this kind of play out because they were jumping on the changeup, and that's ends up costing you a game there because you're not able to get out of the inning. Now, this is not us bringing this up because it's like, oh, the Cubs are doing something wrong. This is more of the sense of like the Padres have to be better at protecting themselves in situations like this because you can't afford, like, Wandy Peralta already can't afford to have bad outings. He especially can't make it easier on them by tipping his pitches. So Dylan Jacobs in Letters to AJ gives his take. He says it's probably nothing, but because the mind can trick itself. But two things could be true. The pitch location was terrible, which it was to Pete Crow Armstrong. But he also timed it perfectly because he was sitting on it. And if that's real, if this information is real, it's definitely fixable and worth looking into. Now, I don't necessarily think this is more of like the Cubs stealing signs. This stuff to me, I think is part of the game. But I do think it raises a little bit of concerns with the Padres pitching staff and the vulnerabilities they have and whether opposing teams are exploiting them. So something to look for this weekend when there's a guy in second base. This is what makes baseball fun though too, Frank. I mean, the little nuances in the middle of these particular contests where guys are picking up stuff and like all the inner workings of a game of what's going on that a lot of casual baseball fans might not see on a daily basis. I think Letters AJ does a good job pointing out this maybe sign stealing. But again, as mentioned, this needs to be something addressed by the Padres to fix themselves and not let it happen again.
No, agreed. And it's every team's done it. Every team has won tip pitches. Every team has relayed signs. The fact that we're seeing it more so, I think, is, I don't know if this is something that you thought would have gone away with ABS because you can't steal signs anymore from the catcher. You can't peer in and take a look at the signs and at least give location. So you're looking at the pitcher now and you can see the hand grip and it's just as effective as looking in sometimes. And if this is something that the pitcher needs to figure out, better to get caught early than not get caught at all. It's worth taking a look at if you're the Padres for sure. Whether or not it's an organizational problem or if it's just a Wandy Peralta problem, it's definitely worth taking a look at.
I think so too. And I'm sure they're already on this when they noticed it. The Padres, I think, have done a pretty good job of noticing when their pitchers are tipping stuff.
Correct, yes.
Which I think also leads to, like, as everybody that's mad at Wandy Peralta from the other day, it might be a little bit easier to do this. And again, like Adam in the YouTube chat said, it's not illegal to steal signs. It's illegal to use electronic devices in real time to steal signs. That is where the problem's at. Like, this is not a Cubs problem. Like, the Padres are probably doing this too, and we probably just don't even notice when they're on second base. But you want to be able to not give your opponent an advantage. It's the same thing with like tendencies. Like in football, you don't want to run the same play out of the same formation every single time, because then when you line up in that formation, I know you're going to run it. I don't want to also have glaring signs from the sideline on things that you always do. You don't want to create patterns because teams will figure them out and expose them. Same thing can be said right here. Padres maybe showing off too much of their changeup and their changeup grip for Wandy Peralta, and the Cubs capitalized on it. So something to monitor, something to look at, something to think about. When we come back, we'll get you a preview of Padres and White Sox. Padres talking about the different avenues they're going to go potentially with their pitching staff as well once Griffin Canning comes back. I know we talked about it, but what have the Padres discussed? We'll mention that in the next segment as well. The Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Sports Station 97.
Wait.
Oh, I have the question for you.
Thank you.
Can you name, if we're going to away tickets to the Padres and Cardinals next week? It's on August. It's August. It's not August. It's on May 7th. 7:10 against the Cardinals. If you call in, 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. If you call in and tell me who the latest Padre was who played for the Cardinals, you will win a pair of tickets to Padres Cardinals on May 7th. First 40,000 fans will receive a free Mason Miller bobblehead. Tickets at Padres.com/tickets. So, the most recent Padre that has played for the Cardinals at some point in his life, first one to call in and tell me who that is will win tickets to Padres and Cardinals on May 7th. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. I'll give you a hint. He's not on this year's team. We'll get you the answer when we come back. The Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. Nobody's answered the question yet. First one to call in and give us the answer to the trivia question today, you will win tickets to Padres Cardinals next week. We're still trying to figure out if we have gotten a winner yet. Full phone lines, all no's. Maybe we got one here. All right. We might have to start answering on air. See if we get anybody to do it.
Do we give all of the callers a hint right now?
Well, I'm about to. Well, did you go through everybody?
Yes.
Everybody's good?
Yes.
All right, so we can drop. Okay. Today's trivia question to try to win tickets to the Padres game. Who is the most recent Padre to have played at any point in time for the St. Louis Cardinals? Here's the hint. He's not on the team this year. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. And here's another hint. It's not Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, no, it ain't Matt Carpenter.
So for anybody that's calling in saying it's not Matt Carpenter. Everybody guessed Matt Carpenter. We had somebody guess Michael Wacha. We had a Tommy Pham mixed in there. We had a John Jay mixed in there. Who is the most recent Padre to have played for the Cardinals at any time? We finally got it? Wow. What is the correct answer? It is Jason. Turn your mic on. Nobody can hear you.
It is Jason Hayward. Adam, congratulations.
Hayward is today's correct
Austin, sorry.
answer.
Austin, my bad.
Congratulations to Austin. He will be going to Petco Park next Thursday. Yes. Jason Hayward is the most recent Padre to have played for the Cardinals, in any portion of his career. Jason Hayward played all of 2015 with the St. Louis Cardinals. It was his landing spot in between Atlanta and Chicago. People thought he was a Cub. He was a Cardinal before he was a Cub. There's your fun question of the day. How about that? So while he gets that information for you, or Frank gets our winners, Austin's information, we will move on to what is going on this weekend. And that would be the White Sox are in town. And before we get to the White Sox being in town, I do want to mention, like we talked about it yesterday, but Jeff Sanders wrote an article about this and last night after our show, or maybe this morning, but I saw it last night about what the Padres are doing in terms of their rotation. We kind of discussed some of the options, but didn't really get to what maybe Jeff Sanders is hearing down at the ballpark with what the Padres are going to do at the back end of the rotation. Now, obviously, we get to a sense of they have to make some pretty important decisions here coming up, but the big picture is the rotation's been okay. It hasn't been necessarily dominant. We'll get to that in a second. Are you surprised? I need to pause this because Frank's done now getting in. Are you surprised how long it took?
Yes. But I also knew, if I'm getting the popular answer, it might take a while. But yes, right. I was surprised. Because I said Matt Carpenter.
I asked Frank first. I was like, "Do you know what it is?" And he said Matt Carpenter. I'm like, "No, it's Jason Hayward." I didn't put in parameters of plate appearance minimums or game minimums, but Jason Hayward did play over 154. He played 154 games with the Cardinals in 2015. He played 34 games with the Padres.
Oh yes, that was between his Braves and Cubs.
He was traded to St. Louis as part of, I forget what trade that was. I remember that being a big trade when the Cardinals got Jason Hayward.
From the Bravos, yeah.
I remember that being a huge trade. That was like the center because that Braves team was loaded coming up. They had Jason Hayward was a young prospect. They had Freddie Freeman coming up. He was coming up through the ranks with Atlanta. They had the Upton brothers. I mean, they were loaded in those seasons. Coming up, but he got traded at age 25 to the Cardinals. I'm sure Adam probably knows, being a Braves fan that he was, but he was traded to the Braves with Jordan Walden. Do you know who came back in that deal? a pitcher?
Trying to think of who was on that staff then.
Right-handed pitcher. 10.4 career WAR, not pitching anymore. He was 51-69 with a 4.04 ERA. Spent time with the Cardinals, Atlanta, Arizona, Texas, and then all over the place after COVID. Real big star, potentially.
I'm going to go with Go Aztecs answer here. Shelby
Miller. Shelby Miller was the return for Jason Hayward from the Jason Hayward to the Cardinals for Shelby Miller, and they had a couple of minor leaguers in both of those. Was Shelby Miller part of the Dansby Swanson trade? Because I don't remember him spending too much time in Atlanta.
Dansby Swanson was signed out of Atlanta.
No, he was drafted by the Diamondbacks. He was drafted by the Diamondbacks.
No,
right?
I thought you were talking about from the Braves to the Cup. Never mind.
No, and then so Shelby Miller was traded for Jason Hayward, and then he was traded to Arizona for Aaron Blair, Ender Inciarte, and Dansby Swanson. So the Braves flipped Jason Hayward for Dansby Swanson. Did that work out for the Braves? Well, they won a World Series.
And then let him walk.
Mm-hmm. They're in first place. Dansby Swanson left with a pulled glute. That's where you're at on that. All right, let's get back to what we were talking about. We talked about this a lot yesterday with the rotation. And basically an article from Jeff Sanders talking about what we were discussing yesterday. You know, it talks about Michael King carrying load with Randy Vasquez. It talked about the veterans have stabilized things with Germán Marquez, Walker Buehler, Matt Waldron. They talk about the reinforcements coming, Griffin Canning, Lucas Giolito, maybe Joe Musgrove and Nick Pivetta later on. But they go from, do we have enough starters, to where do we put all these guys? So a couple of things that they have talked about that was laid out in this article that we kind of discussed. 6-man rotation. Now, I don't know how that would work, but according to this article, you know, they point out why it would make sense. 10 straight games coming up. They have 19 games in 20 days. They have multiple starters returning from injury. A 6-man rotation could protect workloads, ease pitchers back, keep veterans fresh, limit overexposure. And it's really a clean short-term solution. I know you're not going to get Michael King and Randy Vasquez up as many times, but at the same time, Frank, like, wouldn't you be okay with, like, at this point in the season, Michael King not pitching every 5th day? If you had to choose, if he's coming off of injury, if he was perfectly healthy, had no issues last year, you don't want to see that, right?
Right. Yeah.
You want to see him pitch as many times as possible because you want the elite guys going as much as they can. But I mean, you kind of also don't want to burn them out early in the season. You might be overthinking it at that point, but I think a 6-man rotation is very clean. But at the same time, now you're resulting in 4 average pitchers pitching, a lot more frequent than the 2 guys at the top, who you really want to see pitch more times than not because you have a better chance to win. What are the odds you think the Padres do a 6-man rotation? I put it at about 45% that they would do it. I think it's less than half. I think they're considering it. I think the fact that it's mentioned in this article means it's obviously an option. But I just 40%. I think it's less than half. I don't think it's a 50-50 shot to go to a 6-man rotation.
I think the fact that it hasn't gone away leans more to the fact that they probably will go to it at some point, especially if you're getting equal production out of guys like Walker Buehler and Germán Marquez. I don't. The fact that this is still a persistent conversation, I think it's a little bit more likely. Now, if one of the two falls off, then no. But if they continue at this pace, they being Buehler and Marquez, I can see it being a viable option for them.
In this article by Jeff Sanders in the Union Tribune, he mentioned that Ruben Niebla has hinted about unconventional usage. Openers, piggyback starts, hybrid bullpen games for everybody except Michael King. So everybody in the rotation could be subject to this except for Michael King. And this staff may become one of the most flexible in baseball if that's the case. Honestly, like, I think a lot of modern contenders kind of need that kind of strategy. I don't mind that. I think that's where I also have the 6-man rotation at like 40 to 45%. Because I think you could get more creative than that, Frank. I think you can go with an open. I think you can go with piggyback starts. I think you can mix it up and do some non-traditional things. And I think that helps you in the long term with keeping guys fresh, while also utilizing your pitching staff to the best of their ability.
Yeah, you can definitely do that for sure. But I think, again, the fact that something is going to be done with this starting rotation that is unorthodox, because this conversation just persists and it does not go away. And usually, as we've found out, if there's smoke, there's fire. So something is going to be done with this starting rotation. I think a 6-man rotation is probably the most likely, instead of just trying to completely reinvent the wheel, which this team honestly has had no problem doing this year.
You're going to take that back in about 5 seconds. You want to know why?
Go for it.
Ruben Niebla even admitted they may have to, quote, reinvent the wheel. Literally word for word. Not listening to you, Frank. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah, I'll be over here.
I was going to bring it up, but you literally said, like, I don't think they're going to reinvent the wheel.
No, I don't think there's a need to reinvent the wheel.
Ruben Niebla admitted they may have to reinvent the wheel. Playoff thinking in May. The Dodgers did this, though, right? I mean, they got creative. Padres aren't trying to survive the regular season. They're obviously trying to build postseason and build for the postseason, which means they got to preserve Musgrove. They got to slow play Pavetta. They got to try to maximize Buehler. Yes, we did find a winner. They have to find the right October roles. So honestly, that the most fascinating quote out of this particular article is like they might have to reinvent the wheel. And I mean, Ruben Niebla, we already know like how great he has been as a pitching coach and how the Padres arms have, really gotten better over the years with him and over the season. I'm interested to see what kind of creativity they come up with. I think with AJ Preller and as the general manager and seeing this coaching staff, this is a very creative staff. I mean, we already know they're not afraid to like mix up the batting order. Why would they be afraid to like kind of change traditional roles when it comes to the pitching staff?
Yeah, that's why it doesn't surprise me. Bottom line is, right now you're trying to fit 7 people into a 5-person spot.
Yeah, so they have to try to figure that out.
That's what they're doing. And the 2 guys that are 6 and 7 right now have pitched good enough to be number 5. So they're trying to extend it as long as they can before they absolutely have to make a decision.
They got the White Sox tonight. Should be a favorable matchup on paper, but White Sox hitter Petco red hot. Winners of 3 straight, 7 of their last 10. Suddenly within striking distance in the AL Central and playing with confidence. Padres outfielder Will Venable, manager of the White Sox. Not going to be an easy 1-2-3 over the weekend. Hopefully the Padres lock in. We'll talk to you on Monday. Quinn and Chris coming up next for Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We're the Braden Surprenant Show.